feel paralyzed. All right, we are live from Frogtown with the final showdown in round 5. We have our undefeated matchup. We have 4 undefeated players playing to be the top 2 at the end of the event. So we have our top table on camera this round. We have Brad Chester versus David Timms. Brad Chester back on camera with Drukhari. David Timms back on camera with his unconventional take on Admech this round. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to their overhead as they are beginning to deploy their armies. We are playing priority target this round, and it looks like both players have already moved their objectives. This is the mission where you get to move objectives before the game starts. Both players already moving that. We got a nice set of terrain here in the middle. Again, we let the players agree on what they think is a fair and even distribution of terrain before the game starts. Definitely like they've given a lot of play here to the middle of the table. So while they're deploying, let's go ahead and go through their lists. And lists should be in chat. I'll go ahead and link those right now. All right, so let's take a look at what both players are bringing to the table. Again, David has a bit of an unconventional take on Admech that we haven't seen as much. He is coming with the normal Forge World Lucia stuff. A lot of stock choices that we're seeing across multiple tables. Excuse me. So we have Cybernetica Data Smith with the Solar Flare and Supervisory Radiance. We have Skitaria Marshal with Firepoint Telemetry Cache. Then we have a Skitaria Marshal with Exemplar's Eternity Warlord trait. We have Tech Priest Dominus, who is an Artisan with the Luminescent Blessings Warlord trait. We then have a 19-man, 20-man, and 20-man Skitaria Vanguard unit. In the 20-mans, all these with Omni specs. In the 20-mans, the Alpha has the Battlesphere uplink, and in the other 20-man, the Alpha has the Multitasking Cortex. Then we have 2 units of Infiltrators for some forward deploy, 2 units of Sterilizers for deep strike shenanigans, completing actions, getting in those flamers. Then we have the Spice here at the end. We have 5 Sidonian Dragoons for some melee chickens. And then we have 5 Castellan robots. 2 are kitted out with 3 blasters each. And then 3 of them are rocking double fist and a single blaster. So we have 2 kind of melee options here to go with his 5 bricks of infantry. On Brad's list, we are doing the triple patrol. We do have first patrol is Cult of Strife with the Spectacle of Murder. We have the Succubus with the Adrenalite competitive or combat drug. Then we have the Triptych Witch, Agonizer, and Archite Glaive. That is our Warlord. We have 2 witches, or 2 units of witches. 2 units. Each of those witches have 10 people, or 10 witches strong. Each with a Hecatrix. And a witch with a Shardent and Impaler in addition to the regular 8 witches. We have 2 5-man Mandrakes for some forward deploy. We have 2, this is Brad Spice, he likes to bring 2 10-man Hellions, each with 2 combat drugs that will be rolled for randomly. Then we have the next patrol is Cabal the Poison Tongue with the Serpent's Kiss. We have the Court of the Archon here with 4 Sliths, 4 Urgles, and the Archon. The Archon is having, let's see, the Splinter Genius, the Animus Vitae Tolerated Ambition, and the normal Ancient Evil Huxblade and Splinter Pistol. We have 10 Trueborns, 1 with the Dark Lance, 2 with Blasters, and then Splitter Rifles. 2 5-man Incubi, a 5-man Scourge with 4 Shredders for a little bit of action monkeying, as well as we saw those Shredders do work yesterday into other Drukhari. Definitely able to come in and pick stuff up when they need to. We have 4 Raiders. Then our final patrol, we have Cult of Strife, the Spectacle of Murder. We have a Succubus with Adrenalite combat drug. And then the Razor Flails. We have 5 Witches, 5 Incubi, and then a small unit of 3 Reavers. So definitely going to be an interesting match. I'm very interested to see if this melee tech from Admech is going to show to be the answer that Drukhari wants into Admech, or I'm sorry, into Drukhari. Obviously, Drukhari can put out a ton of shots still, but or a ton of attacks. But these are some very tough melee units. A lot of wounds, high toughness. I'll be very interested to see how the Drukhari matches up against these Castellan robots and these Sidonian Dragoons. Speaking of the Castellan robots, we see that David has already deployed his Castellan robots on the front line. They are up there ready to go.
They're still deploying, but can they start playing?
Yeah, we're live now. Oh, sorry, let me get this, let me get our call from Pete going, and we will have our table judge at the table with us. Or our table boss. Pete, are you there?
Hello.
All right. Should be a very interesting game. Obviously, people coming to this event are the two armies that everyone's most worried about if they want to win the event is Drukhari and Admech. Both players bring in a little bit of their personal spice, which you always love to see. Brad continuing to bring 20 Hellions, which not everyone else is rocking at all. And then David showing up with his 10 melee robots. We got 5 Castellan robots with 3 with double fists, and then the 5 Sidonian Dragoons. Very interested to see how Drukhari matches up into these melee robots. I just realized I need to get our... Actually, Pete, while I have you on there, I forgot to send myself the link for the scorecard, so if you would not mind messaging me that scorecard, I'll get it updated in our stream. And then we should be able to see what players pick for secondaries once Pete sends me that link. All right, so it looks like David is setting up his first brick of Rangers up at the top, relatively far away from where he may be expecting the crux of the Drukhari is going to be deployed. Obviously, to speed of Drukhari, that may be a moot point. Drukhari can get where they want to go pretty quickly. We do have 2 nice ruins here in the middle of the table that the Raiders can definitely fly up and hide behind those to launch out the next turn without being seen. And that's exactly what we start seeing, Brad, is deploying Raiders near buildings to start limiting any lines of sight. Now, interestingly enough, he doesn't have to worry about the Raiders being shot from far away as much in this specific matchup, as Matt has shown up without any Laz chickens putting Laz Talons downrange, or any of the Laz cannons that the chickens have downrange.
So DJ will be handling the table scoring because Brad is technologically illiterate.
Sure.
So we're going to wait until after deployment to update the secondaries, and DJ will...
Well, yeah. Can you go ahead and send me the link to the scorecard before they update it so I can get it put in our stream? I forgot to grab that. We can get the link without them putting anything in it yet. We're seeing the rest of the Rangers being deployed around the cover. All right, we'll get the scorecard uploaded right away. All right, so as the players update their scorecard, we'll now be able to see what selections they are making. All right, so Brad is definitely taking advantage of this bottom ruin. Go ahead and deploy 3 of the Raiders down there just to make sure he doesn't have to worry about anything. Again, not a lot of downrange fire compared to normal AdMech lists. No planes, no las cannons that are going to be shooting downrange into Raiders trying to crack them open. So I'm interested. You know, there's two sides of this AdMech list that I'm interested in seeing how it interacts with Drukhari. One, as I mentioned, I want to see how Drukhari deals with the tough melee units that this AdMech list has brought. The Dragoons and the Castellans. I want to see how easy that is for the Drukhari to answer. Two, this AdMech list, more than others, does not have any easy ways to just start popping open Raiders to be able to shoot the contents of them when they want to. There are no las cannons, no las chickens that can really just start opening Raiders with impunity. So how big of a detriment is that, and is that worth the trade-off? I'm interested to see how that plays out. Because if the Raiders just get to hop from terrain to terrain across the board, and there's not any easy shots to open them up, then obviously everything gets out and charges. David. Obviously that sounds bad. So I want to see how well does this melee version deal with the delivery system of the Raiders moving from terrain piece to terrain piece. So we're seeing the normal deployment you'd expect. All of the Rangers are being deployed very close together so that they can get all the buffs from their characters. And they have been surrounded by that tough, durable line of AdMech. And maybe this is the plan. Maybe this is exactly what David is intending to do. Is maybe it's not that the melee wants to be able to punch the Drukhari back, but he has this wall right now. Maybe he wants to walk across the table with that wall intact. To just not give the Drukhari any easy access to the squishy parts on the inside. Looks like deployment is probably coming to an end here. So Brad's checking on his secondaries, or maybe on some rules. We're going to be getting secondaries into the app momentarily. Players are going to be getting those down on their scorecard, but they understand that we're using the app to keep everyone at home updated. We also have Pete, who will be gently reminding them as necessary.
Gently,
ever so gently.
It's not very iron-handy of you.
I mean, the flesh may be weak, Pete, but it is gentle. gently with a hammer as Space Marines. Luckily, I don't think we don't have any hammers in this list. Well, I guess unless you want to speak about metaphorical hammers. All right, so Brad measuring out some ranges. Pete, have we rolled to see who's going first yet, or have they not gotten to that point? We're still is Brad still deploying?
No rolls for first yet.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I saw Brad measuring. I wasn't sure if he was starting.
Yeah, he's just measuring out because punching robots hurt people's faces.
All right, we're getting those secondaries put in, so we'll see what selections both players have made. That might give us an idea of how they want to play the game a bit.
DJ is updating the scorecard on the app with the secondaries for us.
Yep.
And then I think after that we'll have a roll for first turn.
All right, so very, very interested to see. As we can tell with the first selection there, both players are taking priority targets. Everyone takes priority targets on this mission. It's like an automatic 15 points most of the time. We'll see. I guess if anyone can stop it from being automatic 15, I guess Drukhari could, but we'll see what happens there.
I wanted priority target at round 5, so I knew that a bunch of people would be exhausted and top table.
You intentionally gave everyone the easiest thinking mission.
Well, that's exactly my plan.
So Valerie in chat says if Brad goes second, then it's over for him. Definitely, yeah. I'm interested to see. I can't remember. Are the Castellans? I want to look. Are the Castellans core?
Okay, so there's an app error with the eradication of flesh for AdMech. The app will not let you actually put in a number score, so we're going to change that to grind them down.
Okay.
Instead of the eradication of flesh. The Adeptus Mechanicus specific.
Does eradication of flesh still work? It goes up by 3. It goes up the same increments.
It's basically the grind them down will be eradication of flesh.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to put that in chat and make sure everyone understands that.
Yeah, we'll when we talk about secondaries, we'll talk about that. Let's see. I wanted to look here. Still in robots. They're not core. All right. I was just wondering if we could like solar flare Castellan robots on turn 1 or something. So it'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that'd be juicy.
Yeah. I think we can solar flare the Dragoons because the Dragoons are core since this is a pre-FAQ tournament. I don't know if we should do that, but that's a thing you could say. All right, so let's go to the scorecard real quick. David is going to have priority targets, eradication of the flesh, and then retrieve Octarius data. Brad is coming in with priority targets as well, stranglehold, and retrieve Octarius data. So Brad is definitely saying that he wants to just focus on the board, control the board, control his little triangle of things.
Rolls for.
All right, rolls for first.
Here we
Come
go.
back.
That was a 3 and a 4 for the Admech.
Admech going first. Valerie's saying that's exactly what Brad did not need to have happen. So we'll see what this is going to be now. Now Brad is immediately taking advantage of his redeploy. This is why he
instant. He's like, no, I'm not even messing around.
Yeah, Brad. I've talked to Brad before about this. This is exactly why he brings this Cabal. He wants access to the redeploy strat exactly for these scenarios where he loses first turn. He's now going to reset up much more defensively to make sure he does not unnecessarily lose anything on the first turn.
I seriously think that.
We lost you there, Pete.
I seriously think that the redeploy abilities in armies are probably the most powerful abilities.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, deep the Drukhari, I really like it. Even in my my new Iron Hand, I'm going to do Lord Deceit with the Phobos Librarian to redeploy my Incursors.
Yeah.
So
armies that have access to easy and consistent redeploying abilities just seem to always have a way to like stay in the game for sure. It seems all the armies that can redeploy are consistently well positioned in games.
Friendly handshake and a
All
good friendly handshake and a good luck from both players to go into DJ's round 1.
All right. Now, Pete, what is our best case scenario in this game? As fans of 40K, what is our best case scenario? I feel like we're hoping they both table each other and tie, and then somebody else wins.
Absolutely. Like a round 4 tie at 10 points would be perfect, but it's not going to happen.
Hey, look, if they get a 100-100 tie, I mean, I guess the people still win because somebody. Oh no, there's still Drukhari or Admech at the other table, so Admech can still win the tournament.
Yeah,
like, tie. It doesn't matter.
The top 4, top 5 are absolutely invested.
Yeah.
Michelle Mack is at table 2 right now. Sisters versus Admech. Hamagin, Admech versus Tyranids.
That's a surprise.
Table 3.
That's a surprise. See, Tyranids at table 3 right now.
And then the teammates, that Kramer and Sniggs, table 4, Death Watch, versus Drukhari. So I mean, like, I'm rooting for Death Watch or Tyranids at this point.
Sure.
Like anyone else. Just lose,
yeah,
please.
Our top 4 tables are exactly the armies you would expect based on the current meta, except for Tyranids. The one Death Watch may sound like an outlier. A lot of people think Death Watch are one of the best Marine chapters right now, so seeing a Death Watch up there at the top, not a huge shocker.
Well, Sniggs has been playing Death Watch for a long time.
Yeah,
he got best pyramid MCM, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Hopefully, sorry Kramer. I hope Sniggs beats the crap out of you. So, I really hope that Tyranids and Death Watch are somewhere in the top 8. That's my hope.
All right. So it looks like the redeploys are over, and Admech is now about to begin their turn.
DJ is consulting his rules right now.
All right, now Pete, where are the other 2 raiders? Did they go off the table? I only see 2 on my camera.
Yeah, there's 2 raiders off the camera, right?
Okay. Off the table.
Right now.
All right. So we redeployed 1 to be hidden by the ruins, and then just took the other 2 off the table so they could not be shot on the first turn or charged.
Okay. DJ is using Feel No Pain versus the Mortal Wounds on the robot. The deep oops. We have CK, our head judge, active judging at the top table. So, yep. Look at that this specimen right here. Look at him.
Now, the thing that immediately is interesting to me is I want to see what is David's plan against Brad's Hellions. The Hellions dropping bombs seems like a real good way to pick up a buffed unit of Skitarii Rangers. Assuming he can get over them and land on the other side. I want to see what is David's plan against that, because if he just starts bleeding Rangers quickly because of Hellion bombs and mortal wounds, that's obviously going to be a quick way to fall behind in this game. So I want to see what is David's plan for that. It's unlikely necessarily that he has played against 20 Hellions. I haven't seen many people running 20 Hellions other than Brad. So very interested to see what his plan is for that problem.
Yeah, I definitely think unless you're a really good player, there's a net list or a template for Drukhari, and Brad is not playing that. So if he has to compensate that change, the normal.
So seeing the Castellans are to shuffle, and that makes sense maybe if he wants to just go use them to hold or threaten that bottom left objective. Doesn't necessarily want to walk out into the middle first, give any of the Drukhari anything easy to go do out there. The thing that I find interesting is based on where I believe those are mandrakes in the bottom middle for Brad. We'll see if he did take Stranglehold. We'll see, because of the way he withdrew his Raiders, can he get to that middle objective and get Stranglehold on the first turn? Especially if Matt is playing defensive like this. We see him just kind of extending his wall of his tough bodies. He's not going to be able to charge onto that objective or use a charge to get onto that objective at least. So we'll see if Brad even wants to go for that Stranglehold on the first turn. We have seen times where it's not right to go for Stranglehold on turn one. We saw at the Lone Star Open last weekend, John Lennon took Stranglehold and just made no effort to go to the middle of the table on round one. Just didn't care. Brad may be thinking something similar at this point. He doesn't want to walk into the Admech gun line necessarily. So we'll be interested to see what his plan is there. This looks like a solar flare turn one. That is a big handful of guys being picked up off the table. Where are we solar flared to? So yeah, we've solar flared a unit, and then a second unit is coming in to fill in that space. Looks like we were going to try to solar flare in that top left to start threatening the objective that Brad has already deployed the mandrakes to. Wants to go ahead and take that. If he can shoot Brad off or even charge onto that, Brad's going to have a hard time getting it back if this is the buffed unit of Rangers in one turn. Or he could at least. We'll see. It's hard to say Drukhari have a hard time killing anything. They just they delete stuff pretty quickly. So we'll be interested to see. This is it's kind of like a unstoppable force meets unmovable object in a way here. So very aggressive turn one solar play or solar flare play from David. And pretty much all are around the wall to where they can shoot whatever is on the other side of that wall, which I imagine is mandrakes. There may be other units. When Pete gets back, Pete's having a moment, eating a little cheeseburger, cheeseburger. When Pete gets back, he will let us know exactly what all units are hiding in that building. But I'm willing to bet it's just some mandrakes, maybe another unit, but there's not usually. Now the thing that would be interesting is if their Hellions are hiding in there. I know there's Hellions hiding in the bottom row, the bottom left. If there's Hellions up there and the Solar Flare is just giving him 20 shots into the 10 Hellions, that's a big deal. So we'll have to wait and see. I haven't tried to zoom in today. I just haven't messed with it. We'll have to try sometime. We have Rage Tastic cheering on David. This is a very aggressive play. It seems pretty calculated from David. It seems like he knows exactly what he wants in this matchup out of the Solar Flare, so I'm interested to see how this shooting phase goes. Pete's about to head over there in a moment, so we'll be able to see exactly what the Solar Flare has lined up to shoot. And it may be as simple as he just wants to put all the shots into the Raider, perhaps. Crack that, take away some of that mobility, make those Drukhari walk across the table. All right, so I believe we may have moved over to Brad's turn. I think it looks like the Mandrakes, I think the Mandrakes were on that top left objective. The Solar Flare killed them. We're now putting pressure on that top left side away from the majority of Brad's forces in the bottom left. Brad is now beginning to move out. He did just go ahead and send the 3-man Reavers out to get Stranglehold, so he doesn't have to deal with it. He did not want to worry about falling behind even those 3 points on his first turn. So Reavers are just kind of suiciding out there, grabbing Stranglehold. We'll be done with that. It is going to be an interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch how is Brad going to answer the Solar Flare unit in the top left, while still preparing for the wave of heavy-duty robots that are coming across the middle of the table. Those robots do not seem like the targets that Drukhari typically want to fight. So he's going to kind of have to come up with an answer for both here. How is he planning on fighting the aggression from the turn 1 Solar Flare while also being prepared to deal with all of the robots in the middle of the table? It looks like we have a Succubus, I think, sprinting across. Brad explaining his intent on what angles he is planning to let the things be shot by. Looks like these are probably the Hellions that are coming out as well. Maybe that was a Hellion that he started lining up. So not a Succubus, a Hellion came out first.
Yep, Hellion squad in there, and then the Mandrakes, I think.
Or being surrounded, yeah. Pete, are both of the Hellions down there still alive, or was either of them in that top left building that got solar flared?
Sorry, I was talking to Brad. What was your question?
Are all the Hellions still alive? All 20?
One of Brad's Hellion units is in reserve right now.
Okay, all right. I didn't think there was one in the building that the Solar Flare landed next to, but I was just trying to confirm that. Because that would have been very bad.
No, I think there's nothing over here other than Brad's Raider.
Okay.
DJ has a brick and then infiltrators, right? Okay, right here. Brad has a Raider with just witches right here, and then obviously 2 and 10. Jesus.
Don't ruin the game, Pete. So Brad doing everything he can to get those Hellions in a position to be very impactful next turn when they get their advance and charge, while also being as protected as he could come up with from the wall of guns that is walking across the table at him.
Players are adjusting the models to make sure that Brad's Hellion squad over here cannot be shot at.
Sure. This is what you want to see from both players. David, I keep calling him Matt. David understands the intent that Brad is expressing, and they're working together to make sure that the game state on the table reflects what Brad is asking to do. We have our head judge there, CK, helping as well. Just to make sure, you want to solve this in Brad's movement phase is when you want to figure it out. You don't want to figure it out in the shooting phase of David. Have anyone feel like they got gotcha'd. So this is definitely what we encourage here at Death or Glory when we say play by intent. Brad saying what he's trying to do, and everyone at table making sure that that is the case. So we're bringing the Raider up into that same safe space as well. So the Raider has brought in the rear as well. There's a small alley kind of across the table, which I think is what the players are talking about, that you may be able to put some shots into that Raider. This list does not have a ton of long-range firepower. Again, those are not las chickens. Those are taser chickens. Those are melee chickens. So
DJ likely to get up in people's faces with Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yep.
And
I'm interested to see, and I mentioned this earlier, interested to see if the balance David tries to strike between the robots being like a phalanx wall protecting his army, and then a force that he wants to extend to go and deal damage. It seems like they could reasonably fit both those roles. So I'm interested to see which priority he's going to take here. We saw in the first turn he definitely just wanted to use them as a wall to keep the rest of his core safe.
The issue I have is Drukhari is a glass cannon army, and I don't know if any squad that DJ has can survive a charge from a Hellion or any decent sized melee squad. So that's what I'm worried about right now, and obviously DJ is going to have to account for that.
Yeah, well, the ones that are most likely to survive are the robots, the chickens and the robots. That does not mean they could do it, but they're the most likely. What I think David just absolutely doesn't want to have happen is let those Hellions just start flying over his bricks with impunity and just start dealing out copious amounts of mortal wounds. So as the Hellions have moved up into position to try to threaten that next turn, we'll see, does David move his bricks forward, or does he play it safe and just try to stay out of Hellion range to make sure that they can't easily start removing his large units. It looks like Brad has something coming up around the corner towards the Skitarii unit. Looks like probably a disembark from the Raider. Going to hop out and start charging. I know Drukhari has access to a lot of ways to ignore Overwatch. So there may be something like that over there. Pete, what you got?
Brad is deploying the tech bus, and his units over here.
I said at least one way, Valerie. I don't have all of the Drukhari Codex memorized, but I know every time I've played it, they've definitely done it at least once every game. 0 number, that's for sure. And, honestly, he doesn't even have to deny Overwatch here, because the Raider could just charge. Everything gets out, goes over there, the Raider flies over. Raider could just charge and soak the Overwatch if he wanted to.
So the Raider is disembarking all the units on the Raider.
Yep.
3 and then 10 inches, so they got maybe a 2 or 3 inch charge for that Drukhari brick over there.
Yeah. The question is going to be, how is Brad going to choose to make sure that his stuff does not get decimated in Overwatch? He has a couple choices. So this is the thing with the brick up here in the top left corner. This is what I'm interested in saying is what was Davis playing with this? Was he trying to get Brad to get out of the Raider? Was that all it was? Because all these. Sorry, go ahead, Pete.
I don't know. I think they was like open objective. I'm going for it. I don't think that DJ accounted for the redeploy. And
but
Brad
then he did a solar flare after the redeploy. Like he did solar flare on his turn. Redeploy was pregame.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But I don't think DJ I think he's underestimating how much damage Squad is going to do that brick.
Maybe. It's so my concern is just that Mandrakes, if he just immediately loses this unit, that's a huge trade down, unless the whole point of the solar flare was to bait Brad to get out. Which I guess
you could do Overwatch.
Yeah, but Drukhari has a lot of ways to stop Overwatch. I mean, he could just charge with the Raider first. If he had wanted to do that play, he could have. So there's that. Killing stuff inside the Raider with Overwatch was not a very likely plan, I don't think. So we'll see what's happening here. Looks like Brad is doing the charge. So Pete will get back over there and let us know what happens. I'm going to imagine we just did the deny Overwatch gun or whip or whatever it is. Because this is a charge that we have hit. So this is Pete, can you confirm this is 10 witches and a succubus charging this unit?
Okay, confirming 10 witches and a succubus, and then the CP strat to...
So we use a strat to deny Overwatch. I mean, we just have to assume that these are dead, right? Is this a buffed unit of Rangers in any way? Do they have transhuman, any of that stuff?
He's literally got all of them. Transhuman, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buffs on that one unit.
Okay.
Ranger.
So we'll see if that's enough.
Brad trying to re-roll, spend CP and re-roll against that squad, but DJ has the no re-rolls against that squad buff. So let's discuss them right now.
All right. So this, based on the number of dice Brad rolled, I imagine these are attacks with a succubus to start with.
Infiltrators are took to casualties for that squad.
Oh, so these are into the infiltrators first. Okay, that makes sense.
Correct. Brad is splitting his attacks. Once you learn, he picks it up.
So that was not a huge number of wounds. Looks like maybe we lost 3 or 4. Okay, 5 or 6 perhaps. Brad's got more attacks coming now.
Yeah, five current ranger casualties. Brad still got some coming in, and 13 saves for DJ. Not a great roll at all. So it looks like Brad Chester just wiped out 10 rangers.
Okay. I mean, that's definitely meaningful. Not as many as I expected. The AdMech buffs really showing how durable they can make their units for a moment. Obviously now they're going to get to punch back at these witches. Has the succubus activated yet, Pete? Conversation between Brad and David. I'll wait to see what they come up with.
Succubus attacking right now,
Okay.
and that's the last unit besides TJ's return rifle butting.
All right. Now, I mean, the punching back, depending on how many the succubus kills, 3 infiltrators are still alive, plus some number of rangers. So we'll see what kind of damage they can do back to the witches.
Yeah, is DJ running veteran cohort, or is he?
He's got a regular battalion of Lucius.
Okay.
I think we lost
4 dead from that.
4 more. So we should be down to 6 left.
6. 4 wounds going through. And there's 2 rangers left right now.
Okay. So we did functionally wipe that unit. Again, we'll see how many witches are left after the infiltrators. The question is, was this a trade that David needed to make or wanted to make?
Step away from the table to give my opinion, but awful trade. 5 buffs. DJ put 5 buffs on that squad.
Was not.
And you have 1 unit of Hellions and a succubus. Like that, and the they're not even dead yet.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how many witches he kills back. The question becomes, what was David's plan with the solar flare? Was he just trying to get this unit to come out? That seems like an aggressive way to get them to come out and trade your once a game relics. Because there may have been other ways you could have tried to bait them out. Obviously on paper, trading 18 Rangers and 2 Infiltrators for some number of witches doesn't seem great. So again, we'll see what is David able to do punching back here. The witches don't last forever. They're not particularly hardy, but that 5 models may not be enough to attack or to kill them. All right. This looks like these are punches back into the witches. So we're losing 1, 2. Looks like Dave was going to try to hand Brad the models he wanted to pull, and he was unsure. So looks like Brad lost 1. He's putting it back. Maybe worried about coherency here. Doesn't want to pull models in such a way that he creates a chain of death through coherency. Two. Okay, so looks like Brad lost 2 witches. We'll have Pete confirm when he has a moment to get back over there. But it looks like there's still, maybe he lost 3, maybe 7 witches left on the table and a succubus. That does not seem like a good trade, or not nearly good enough of a trade. So we will, we'll see what David's answer is to just giving away a brick on the first turn. Giving away is not fair. That's not a fair way to describe it. We'll see if the sending out of the brick has generated over there. You were hoping that Brad answers in a specific way, which you probably then hope that you have an answer for in a specific way. We'll see if David has managed to create the game state that he wanted with that turn 1 aggressive solar flare straight up outside of Brad's deployment zone. Looks like the players are having a conversation at the end of Brad's turn before they score. Looks like we picked up a few more witches, perhaps. Or no, that may just be a failed leadership check. I think that's a failed leadership, and David's picking up his last ranger or 2. Now, this is a pre-FAQ AdMech list for those of you who are just joining us. So David does still have access to all of the unmodified version of the AdMech strats and abilities. Alright, looks like David is handing out some buffs. We'll check on the scorecard, although we should not see a ton that has changed for this turn. Brad also got priority targets. Brad did manage to get his Stranglehold. Both players, I'm sure, picked up their first Octarius data. We believe that David is going to be picking up a I think a 10 for primary. We'll go double check. Oh, wrong camera, sorry. So, yeah, David's going to be picking up 10 for primary here. So he's going to be up to 26 points right now. Again, he does not have Grind Them Down. He has Eradication of the Flesh. We're having a BCP app error with the secondary right now. But David did get 3 for Eradication of the Flesh on the first turn by killing those mandrakes. All right, it looks like David is measuring up for a Rock'em Sock'em Robot Charge, which I would love to see. Pete, I know, wants to go see it too. If the Rock'em Sock'em Robots can get down to the Hellions, oh man, will that hurt the Hellions. Hellions do not want to get Rock'em Sock'emed. It's not an automatic charge. It looks like it's probably a 7-inch charge at least. So we'll be interested to see how far that actually is if David chooses to go for that play. And yes, I did say Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Dragon Beef, that's why you're looking at lists. This AdMech list, a bit unconventional. It's got the main core that we've been seeing from Lucius, but it has 2 large units of melee robots. 1 unit of Castellan robots, 3 of which have double fists, and 1 unit of Sidonian Dragoons. Those are not Laz chickens, those are Taser chickens. We saw David on stream earlier playing against other AdMech. Neither the Dragoons nor the Castellans were really necessary. I'm sorry, not against AdMech, playing against Tau. So neither of the melee units were very necessary for melee purposes against Tau, of course. As it was more, he just was able to use speed to box in the Tau player. So we have not seen if the melee component of the robots have paid off on the game we've seen David. Obviously, he's 4-0. So they must, they're not bad at the very least. They're not costing him games. So interested to see if those Castellan robots get to charge the Hellions. It's going to hurt the Hellions for sure. Which Brad going second. The Hellions about to do their advance and charge. We know that David does not want to let the Hellions bomb, especially just losing a unit of Rangers on the first turn. Given the opportunity, David absolutely does not want to let the Hellions bomb either of his other Ranger units with their advance and charge this turn. So we'll see what the play is here. I imagine that those Taser chickens are probably going to be charging the Reavers. Yeah, I meant on this next turn, Valerie. That when Brad goes again, it'll be a second turn, at which point they can do advance and charge, which is why I imagine the Reavers came out to hide behind that building. So they'd be in position to do an advance and charge and maybe drop their bombs on turn 2. I imagine those Dragoons are going to want to go ahead and be charging the Reavers. Both to, obviously we want to just get rid of them, not deal with them anymore. That's not like it should be hard to kill them. But getting Dragoons onto that middle objective or threatening that middle objective, with Brad having chosen Stranglehold, the Dragoons definitely are going to be an impetus to Brad being able to get Stranglehold the easy way with the center objective. Brad does not have a footprint established on the right side of the table yet, so he can't really easily threaten, at least as the board currently sits, he cannot easily threaten the bottom right objective where the infiltrators are holding it. Now Brad does have a lot of stuff in reserves. He's got 2 Raiders full of people in reserves. He's got a unit of 10 Hellions in reserves. So we could see a charge out of reserves onto that objective to try to pick up Stranglehold in a less conventional way than holding the normal triangle. So we'll see what Brad's plan is. Obviously, it'll be reactive to whatever David comes up with here. I think we're definitely seeing the Dragoons. Now, what David is making clear is that he wants these Dragoons to be a wall. And that may be part of their purpose, is that they're a wall to protect his Rangers from Drukhari. That could literally be why he brought them, except it's a wall that has a pretty decent chance of punching back if Drukhari charges them. They can actually, do some stuff in combat with their exploding 6s to hit. They have basically a Tesla melee weapon. And so we are seeing David being very meticulous to keep this wall of Dragoons intact, which that could just be his strategy here. And then he has measured for where the Castellan robots could get to. We'll see. He may just want to get there, take any shots he can, and then again, he's just kind of extended that wall to prevent anything else from coming down there while he threatens the bottom right in the center objective. Or, I mean, he could just, get the Castellans there, roll the charge. Maybe he wants to charge if he just gets the high enough number, and then he'll deal with it then. All right, we see that looks like the Marshal is falling back to be next to the Dragoons. Unfortunately, it does not look like the Marshal is getting on the other side of those Dragoons, so we'll see how long that Marshal lives. Actually, I don't know if that's a Marshal. That's the one that had the solar flare. Let me double check which person had the solar flare. Solar flare was on the Data Smith. That's a cybernetic at Data Smith that just fell back to the Dragoons. All right, looks like we're laying out our buffs so that both players remember which unit are buffed with which things. Again, we just saw the Tin Witches kind of just ignored the buffs. Like, the buffs mattered, but not enough to keep that unit alive. He lost the whole 20 after morale. So those buffs are not perfect, for sure. They made it a lot harder, but he's fully aware that those buffs don't guarantee anything against Drukhari. Looks like we last things we had to move. We still have the 20-man ranger that's in the back ruin. We're assuming they're going to have to come out. He does have priority targets, so there may be. The issue is multiple things in reserves. He has to be very careful to screen out that back corner. He does not want to just let a raider full of 10 or 12 people land in that back corner. He does not want to let Hellions land in that back corner, charge one of his characters, contest his objective, and then force the AdMech player to go backwards while he gets a stranglehold on the other side. That would just be kind of a snowball of bad events. So I'm sure we're going to see him with a character or by stringing back the 20 guys, try to make sure that corner does not open. All right, so we see the Castellans coming to the pre-measured place. Again, I'm not sure. We'll see how many of them have angles to shoot. Brad and David were working together on Brad's turn to make sure that the Hellions were obscured from shooting as much as possible. So we'll see if this move gets any of the Phosphor Blasters into range of the Hellions. If not, we may just be seeing like I said, charge. Roll the charge, see if you get it, great. If not, then we've still just kind of extended our wall in the way that it looks like he's trying to set up. So what are we measuring here? Let's see. There's still a couple infiltrators up there. That may be what he's measuring from. Oh, he may be measuring for a spot for the Taraxi. He has 2 units of Taraxi that are still off the board with Flamers. He may be looking to see if he has a spot that he can land the Taraxi in that crater, and then start peppering some things with some Flamers, perhaps. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happening. We're trying to measure 9 inches away from all of Brad's Drukhari. May have come to the realization that there is not a spot there around that crater for the Taraxi. As Brad has things, see kind of in the middle of the table by those 2 ruined walls, that he has things in both of his ruins down in the bottom left and the bottom middle, and then obviously the Reavers on the center objective. There may just not be a spot between those 9-inch bubbles that the Taraxi could go to. Almost like he drew it up that way. Well, that's giving Brad a lot of credit. I don't know if he thinks that far ahead. looks like we are seeing how many of the rangers in that back ruin we have in range of the witches, as he would like to just go ahead and get those off the table. Obviously, what he needs to be able to do, if possible, is shoot the witches away so that he could shoot the succubus without it being lookout surge, which is probably something he wants to do. Again, I'm curious if this was part of his plan. If the solar flare was to bait the succubus out of the raiders so that he could go after it, if he thought that was worth the trade. Seems aggressive, but I don't play AdMech, and it looks like David. I have to assume that the way David's playing this wall of robots seems very intentional. It seems like he has a plan that he has come in with, which makes me think that the solar flare has to have been part of that plan. I'll be interested to get his thoughts about it after the game. Alright, so we're rolling some dice. I imagine these are shots from the Rangers in the back top right corner, shooting down range into the witches, I expect. Alright, looks like rolling some saves for Brad. Yeah, I assume this is into the witches that were gestured at momentarily ago. Yep. Here come the witches. 1, 2, 3. That's all the witches. They're all gone. All the infiltrators are gone too. Maybe, I guess the witches have a fight on death. That could have been what Brad was rolling. Shot the... How would the witches have been shot if they were engaged with the infiltrators? This is where I need Pete. Pete has had to go do TO stuff. I'm not exactly sure what happened. We can get Pete over there in a moment. He can find out. All right, we're having some technical difficulties with Pete. We'll try to get him back on the line here in a minute. In fact, I'll just step away and ask Brad while we're trying to deal with these technical problems, so I'll be back in just a moment. All right, so clarified with Brad there while we're having technical problems with Pete. So what happened was the infiltrators that the witches were engaged with went into reserves. Brad saying that he got punched in the face because he's a bad player and doesn't know how to read. He did not think that the infiltrators could leave while they were in engagement range, and they did. And then the Rangers shot downfield, immediately picked up every single witch. Brad said he failed 100% of his 6-up saves. Didn't make a single one. And the witches just got picked up off the table. So there's now a lone succubus standing out there by herself at the top left area. There's a little blue model. And the 3 infiltrators have gone up into reserves. All right, looks like we may have Pete back on the line with us. You're good? All right, yeah, Pete can hear us now. All right, so you've got that fixed. All right, so what I'm definitely looking forward to, I want to see this charge from the Castellans. I want to see if the Castellans charge the Hellions, or if that's just not even what he wants to do.
The charge of the Rock'em Sock'em?
I want to see a Rock'em Sock'em robot punch. Now, to be fair, we don't know for sure that's what David wants to do. We're just kind of hoping it's what he wants to do. All right, so David working away at some of the, I think those are mandrakes that Brad was using just to kind of screen out his area a bit.
He-mandrakes.
He-mandrakes, yep. They have the bright golden hair. So Brad was just using that to make sure that there were no Traxi that could come in to that part of the table. David, annoyed that he could not put his Traxi where he wanted to this turn, starting to work away at some of those smaller models, smaller units to just get them out of his way.
Right. Everyone has to look at these.
I don't know. Yeah, put your hand behind it and move it closer. It may show up more. There you go. Move it a little bit closer. Those, at least it's good enough that you guys can see. Nice, beautiful tan skin with the golden hair. The He-Man Drakes.
Outrageous.
Oh, it looks like we made the charge. We are going to rock 'em, sock 'em, Pete.
All we can.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you've ever played Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but you're about to. Again, he only needs to get 3 of them into melee, because the 2 that are in the back that he didn't make much effort to get to melee are probably the ones that have the triple blasters anyway. So he's just trying to get the 3 double fisty boys into the Hellions. I gotta double check. What does the fist even do? I need to go look. I imagine it punches really hard. Yep. 1 additional attack with each weapon, so that means the Castellan's making 5 attacks each, so 15 attacks. Each of them is AP3, 3 damage. So they just, every wound is going to kill a Hellion. Unless the Hellion's got like a feel no pain combat drug or something. They were rolling for 2. And as expected, the Dragoon wall is just going to move up, take out these Reavers, and then threaten the middle of the board so that Brad cannot easily come up and get Stranglehold in the most conventional of ways. Full, very powerful things still in reserves. He's got 2 Raiders full of people still in reserves. He's got 10 Hellions still in reserves. Being very meticulous from David to make sure that wall continues to protect his Rangers. Yeah, I think these Dragoons are not invincible. I think
TJ
the goal
is activating the interrupts.
Okay.
Or not right now.
Dragon Beef saying that Incubi will eat Dragoons. That is probably true. I think the question is going to be, is that again part of David's plan? It looks like he wants these dragoons to die first. It looks like. Paul Lamb, thank you for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the finals of our Showdown or Frogtown ITC Major Tournament. Having Brad Chester's Drukhari up against David Tim's Admech here in the finals, vying for one of the 2 final undefeated spots. I'm this entire movement of the Dragoon line looks like it looks like he's done it before and he knows what he wants it to do. So I imagine that it's not that he thinks the Dragoons are invincible, but that they will stop stuff from getting to the things he wants to have last the game. So maybe he's willing to sacrifice the Dragoons to the Incubi, one to get the Incubi out, to continue to use the Rangers further into the game. Maybe he thinks they're invincible, or maybe they have been in other games, or invincible enough to survive without getting wiped. So we'll have to continue to see how this shakes out. I'm interested to see how Drukhari deals with these robots. Like the Castellan robots and the Dragoons are definitely tougher than your average model that Drukhari will typically attack. So I'm just interested to see how that combat goes. I'm not gonna lie, I really hope that the 3 robots just punch 10 Hellions to death here, because I think it'll be hilarious. Just smacking them out of the air with their giant robot paws. But you know, I'm kind of here for the memes, so I just want to see it. Looks like we are rolling the robot attack over on David's side. So we'll see how this goes. Pete is getting back. Neither of us want to miss this. Pete is getting back to the table. We want to know what the robots do.
Brad rolling 5 sets of steel. So 5 wounds go through, and Brad's trying to save his 5 Hellions from dying.
So Brad's failed 5 saves to take it?
Correct.
Okay,
Trying
that's.
to save, trying to steal off the game.
I'm not gonna lie, that feels like a lower number than David probably wanted to kill with 15 attacks. I mean, they are only hitting on 4s, so it's not shocking. But definitely seems like that is a lower output than he was hoping for. Oh, this wasn't even into... That was into the Mandrakes. He may have lightning fast as well, Geek Monster. We'll have Pete confirm that. Did he lightning fast to Hellions? Although this looks like the attack... He just picked up Mandrakes.
Okay, yeah, so Mandrake died. He did not charge the Hellions. There was no lightning reflex. There's no point.
Yeah, only 5 Mandrakes.
So, not great.
So what it looks like must have happened is Brad set the Mandrakes up in a way that they had to be charged and not the Hellions. That means the Hellions are free and clear, which is very interesting. I assume that the reason you would send these down here is if you thought you could pick up the Hellions. Looks like he had other plans. Just wanted to get down and start harassing this side of the table. I'm going to assume that they were not in Conqueror, because if he knew he was charging them just 5 Mandrakes, it may just not matter. He may just not have cared.
DK just confirmed he isn't the melee protocol, so I think it's called Conqueror protocol.
So he is in Conqueror?
Whatever the melee one is, I'm not sure about the name of it, but it might be Conqueror. It's melee protocol.
So he is using that. Okay. Regardless, I'm a little surprised to see these go down here just for the Mandrakes. Again, I'm interested to say, yeah. Like I was really excited to see the robots punch the Hellions. Punching the Handrakes doesn't seem nearly as exciting.
It's like clubbing baby seals. It's not great.
Yeah. Pete's talking to Brad. We'll see what Pete's learning in just a moment.
I'm learning some stuff I can't repeat on screen. So, from Brad.
Brad always keeps it completely clean. What are you talking about?
It's a good thing he's facing away from the camera right now.
Brad threatening me with guns. That's what's happening. I'm seeing Brad threaten me with guns as a tournament official.
Typical Ohioan.
Yeah, absolutely. You still have to take out the mandrakes. You can't just let them run rampant across your board.
Taser chicken walkers into the bikes right now.
Yeah, I assume this is just automatic, honestly, because each wound kills a bike. Because the taser chickens are 2 damage each. There's only got 3 guys attacking. 15
wounds in the bike
15
right now.
wounds.
Oh, and Brad is doing the... Yep.
Yeah, so again, that's more, it looks like the Dragoons are moving into a position to where Brad should not easily be able to just stranglehold the middle without having to put effort into it. The Dragoons are going to make it, they're here. If you come over here, the Dragoons will just keep killing you. By next turn, Brad could probably get up there and tag it this turn, unless the Dragoons have some kind of heroic intervention strat that I'm not aware of. Brad could probably go up there and tag that objective away from him. But next turn, the Dragoons are going to be in a position to where even if you put something on the objective and Dragoons charge it, after they consolidate, they will be able to be around the edges to where you just won't really be able to get into that anymore. Then Brad's going to have to get a stranglehold on the perimeter of the board instead of using the center. Fat Dingo, Mr. Brad Chester. Yeah, Brad at the top table. Brad. Let's see. He's through a little window. He's talking to David right now. We will let him know in a moment.
I have an exciting result from Table 4, guys.
Oh, we do? All right.
Snigs did a death watch 99-97 against Drukhari.
Wow. 99-97. Death watch over Drukhari on table 4.
Amazing.
That is
I am ecstatic for the death watch.
I don't even, that's crazy that someone got 97 points and lost. I don't know the last time I saw that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I almost wish we would have covered that match instead of this one.
Well, it is what it is.
I mean, I can't even imagine what that table must have been just absolutely jam-packed every single round.
Yeah. Do we have any updates? The table we obviously want to get the most updates from would be table 2 with Michelle and I think it's Matt. Do we have any updates from our other undefeated table? Even a score update. Yeah, Death Watch broken confirmed, Valerie. Needs nerfs. I keep seeing people say we saw it on a GW article this week. People saying Death Watch is one of the best armies, and everyone's like, why? Why would you say Death Watch is the best army? They don't do stuff. Well, they do stuff. Let me tell you. I played against it last week at Lone Star. Managed to get the win there, but it's it's very terrifying the amount of output that various versions of Death Watch can have.
So right now, table 2, Michelle, Matt, Michelle, Sister versus Mech. Matt is at 20, Michelle's at 15 at round 2. That's table 2.
Okay. That's the other part that's impressive with that, Pete, that they finished the score 99-97 while everyone else is on turn 2.
Okay. Table 3, Tom Ogden 100-60. Tom was playing Admech versus the Tyranid player. The Tyranid player did lose.
Okay, so Tom Ogden, who did lose in the first round to our other undefeated AdMech player, Tom with his first tournament playing AdMech, did manage to run the table the rest of the weekend. The 100-point victory in the final round, so definitely still up there for contention for top 3. Speaking of which, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Tom Ogden, joining us here in the kitchen, in the commentary kitchen. How are you feeling after today, Tom?
It was a good game.
How are you feeling about AdMech after your first tournament with him?
I feel alright. I was getting like pumped up for AdMech when I first saw him playing, and then like before I even got to do anything, Black Temples were announced, and I've been just not caring about it. I literally haven't built any of my models.
Yeah, you're just borrowing your friend's stuff right now.
Yeah, because I don't feel like I just want to build Black Templars and paint Black Templars right now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We those who know you know how much you love Black Templars.
I mean, look at our actual logo.
Yeah, they can see it on the stream. We have an actual Black Templar on our official logo.
I love Templars.
All right, so let me tell you what's happened in this game, and we'll get your thoughts on it. Because you probably know more, even as someone who's been starting to play AdMech, you know more about them than I do, because I don't own the codex. So AdMech went first. Chester used his redeploys to take 2 raiders off the table and move 1 over here. So over here on the beginning of the game, we had a Mandrake unit and a raider that had 10 witches and a succubus. AdMech player solar flared immediately to right here, killed 5 mandrakes, and then got charged by the 10 witches and the succubus. So my only thought was that if that's part of the plan, he just wanted the witches out and the succubus out of the raiders so he could start doing stuff to them. It just seemed on paper that seems like a bad trade in some ways.
100%.
Yeah.
With Brad putting things in reserve, what does he have in reserve?
So right now he has 2 raiders full of people in reserves.
What does the AdMech have in reserve?
AdMech has 2 Taraxi in reserves right now, and then he just put 3 infiltrators back in reserves.
He should so he has 3 units of infantry in reserve?
He had 2 Taraxi, and on his turn he did the go back into reserves with the infiltrators.
Okay. So you said a unit of 3 or 3 units?
A unit of 3 infiltrators. Yeah.
It's not too bad. I would have saved Solar Flare for like round 3 or 4 or 5. Turn 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah.
With Brad, he plays the reserves very, very good. That's how Brad wins his games. He doesn't play Drukhari as if he wants to like a glass hammer, like right something and just destroy stuff. He has a lot of firepower, but Brad wins games by manipulating the turns and the game. So giving up your solar flare and something that could really turn the game at later was really bad, and he didn't get nothing for value.
Yeah.
So I don't care what he killed, but he didn't get board control because what he took with that solar flare was immediately charge him, probably shredded, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it immediately got all 20 died right away. Yeah.
Horrible trade. So he gave up one of his bricks that can control the table and one of his best mechanics that like Brad's gonna pull tricks out of sleeve turn 3 and 4. That's when Brad does Brad magic.
Yeah.
If you know we have a slower turn and look at you like, yep, we're gonna disrupt this plan. Horrible trade.
And that was my thought. The only way it could make sense to me is if he wanted to trade the solar flare and 20 rangers to get something out of a raider, but that just seemed really aggressive.
Why? He can just grab the unit and put it right back on the raider.
Right. Well, the thought being that it would get out, go attack the rangers, and then what just happened was these rangers back here shot the witches that had killed the first 20 rangers. But again, you're trading 20 rangers for 10 witches, and I don't know the points, but I'm pretty sure the rangers cost more.
Yeah, it's not good. Brad has enough of those cheap witches to do stuff with. You don't have a lot of 20 raids.
Yeah. So we did see Brad did a great job down here. We all thought he's the one that has 5 Castellan robots, but 3 of them have fists.
Tankmen?
Yeah, so they're the punchy Rock'em Sock'em robots. We were real excited. We thought these guys were coming down here to charge these Hellions that were down here a minute ago, but Brad had expertly set up his Mandrakes in such a way that you couldn't charge the Hellions. You had to charge the Mandrakes. So they killed the 5 Mandrakes, and now the Hellions are going over there to try to deal with, it looks like, the Dragoons or some such, and kind of just get away from these robots that aren't going to be able to chase them very quickly.
So Edna got first turn. What was all killed besides?
First turn, all he killed was 5 Mandrakes. That was it. Brad did what Brad does, and he set everything up to where it just couldn't be seen.
So it's going to be a landslide for Drukhari.
You
can't give Brad
it's starting.
turn
Yeah.
and not punish him. If you give him second turn, controlling of the turn, controlling of all the secondaries, and not punish him for it, you're going to lose.
Yeah. Brad, and again, Brad's still got like half his army off the table. He hasn't even put it on here yet. He's still got 2 Raiders, 20 guys, 2 characters, and 10 Hellions are still not on the table right now. Yeah, it's definitely Brad's definitely setting up for plays that look very powerful right now.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna put the army away and I'll come back and check.
All right, sounds good. All right, Pete, can you let me know if you're still over near the table? Yeah, you are. What are those, that little 10-man unit that came in behind the robots? Looks like Pete may be talking to a player real quick. Oh, here we see one of the Raiders coming out of reserves. All right, Pete, can you hear me?
I can, yep.
All right, what is that little 10-man unit that came in behind the robots?
Ten-man squad of witches, right here.
Okay, witches. All right. Did those come out of a transport? Or are they coming from reserves?
Transport, this one here.
Ah, okay.
They wouldn't been able to come out because there's a infiltrator squad right here.
Yeah.
So 9 inches would have maybe put them, I don't know, right here somewhere.
All right, and we see Brad is now just committing a lot of resources to these robots. It looks like Brad just does not want these robots to make it out of this turn. This is a lot of damage getting lined up in front of these Castellans.
Brad, Brim, no fun.
Yeah, but everyone knows that old man Brad's just a curmudgeon, doesn't want other people to have fun in his games.
Like, get off my table.
Get off my lawn. These silly kids and their fruity cereals. Brad's screening out a little bit. He knows there's still 2 Taraxi and a unit of 3 infiltrators that have to come on the table next turn. Brad wants to make sure that those cannot come anywhere near his stuff or his deployment zone objective at the very least. Really wants to try to push those back onto David's side of the table if possible. All right, yep, and now we're making sure that there's absolutely no space back there. We'll ask Pete to confirm at some point with David. I appreciate that reference, Dougie Monster. And, you know, it's a shame, too, because anytime I see cool models like Castellan robots on the table, I want them to do well. I like cool models that you don't see in lists all the time. Those are, like, my favorite kind of units. They look sweet, and they're not, like, super top tier. Everyone plays them. You know, they also have to be decent, of course, which obviously Castellans are still decent. All right, Pete, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, I would like you to ask David how many times he watched the Hugh Jackson movie Real Steel before he put the Castellans in his list. Pete's talking to a judge right now. Has no time for my jokes and silliness. Robot jocks? Is that a different movie? I honestly don't know that phrase. Is there a movie called Robot Jocks, or is that a reference to Real Steel? I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen Real Steel. I just know what it is, and I appreciate it.
I'm sorry. I was doing the massive prize pool. We have $1,500 for our prize pool today.
That's a lot for a 60-man tournament.
Yeah.
That may be more than Frontline gave out at Lone Star last weekend. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, we try and give back as much as we can.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have some certain costs that we can't ignore, like the venue and transportation, but we try and give as much as we can to the players.
Absolutely. No, we had a joke question for David. How many times did he watch Real Steel before he put the Castellans in his list?
If he starts shadowboxing, I'll be excited. Although the DJ is not as ripped as Hugh Jackman, so I don't know if that.
You know what? DJ is a beautiful man, so we're not going to disparage his looks in any way. All right.
I mean, what's the last Old Man Wolverine movie? That might.
Oh, Old Man Logan. Yeah.
Yeah, Old Man Logan.
All right, Brad. What is Brad attacking right now, Pete?
Yep. Twitter pods from the Hellions into the Rangers.
All right. Looks
We
like
can see Brad and DJ pointing to them.
Okay. So
And 3 Rangers have died.
3 Rangers. Okay. Yeah, enough Real Steel references. Now we gotta get back to the action. Pete, Gear Monster saying that you're implying that David is built like the little girl from the Old Man Logan movie. You know what, David's on camera in that top left corner. We'll let people draw their own conclusions. I'm not gonna disparage the man at all. No one who looks the way I look can criticize the way anyone else looks. Let me tell you that. So we're into the charge phase. We had the Raider charge the robots to soak up the 9 phosphor blasters from overwatching to make sure they didn't take out the witches before the witches can get in there and do their thing. Looks like some witches are still dying in Overwatch anyway. Oh, no, they're charging something else. I'm sorry. That's where the infiltrators were in the bottom right corner. The witches, instead of charging the Castellans, are charging the infiltrators to go ahead and get that stranglehold. Actually, not even to get stranglehold. He's going to be holding David to a 5 is what he's going to be doing. These Hellions have this middle objective. Doesn't matter what the Taser Chickens do. These witches are going to absolutely destroy these infiltrators. So then we're going to be up 4 objectives to 1, holding David to a 5 on his turn 3. Which is a big deal because obviously it's extremely hard to stop Drukhari from getting 15 on second or on primary when they go second at the end of the game. So David's going to have to find a way to break serve at that point. If he gets a 5 right now, he's going to have to figure out how he's going to make that up if he wants to win this game over the next 2 turns. looks like that is the Succubus who got into the Rangers, and that's not good if that is the case.
Yeah, absolutely. Super value from that table side over there. So well done for Brad. Hellions going into these are chickens right.
Did anything charge the Castellan robots beside the Raider down at the bottom, Pete? I know the Raider got in there.
So we've got the Urgle, Precision Blow, Dangerous Lady, and the Raider.
Okay. So you have the Slith Party, the Court of the Archon, and then the Precision Blow Succubus plus the Raider who soaked the Overwatch.
Yeah, she's Danger Lady.
Yep.
Very dangerous.
So this could be a catastrophic turn, depending on what happens here. If the Succubus up at the top is able to pick up a bunch of Rangers, I don't know how many Dragoons the Hellions can expect to pick up.
Oh, also, Witches into the Infiltrators right here.
Yeah, that's over.
That's another point for Brad to take over, right?
Yeah, that's what you're saying is he's in position that if he loses the middle of the table somehow from the Hellions holding it, that he still will be strangleholding on the perimeter. So this is, as Drukhari is prone to do with their second turn, set up to be a massive knockout punch, depending on how things go. Yeah, exactly, Guillaume Monster. The Slith Party is probably there just to keep the robots locked in combat for a turn. They're not likely, like the Slith Party's not going to kill the robots. Now the Succubus can kill the robots, or do a lot of damage to the robots. I don't even know if the Succubus can actually kill 5 robots worth of wounds or not in one turn, but she's going to hurt them for sure.
I think it's literally like mathematics.
Sorry, Pete, we lost you there.
I think it's mathematically
impossible.
Yeah, it's supposed to kill the robot.
Yeah. But she can put a hurt on. Okay, so yeah. Succubus up at the top just killed more than half of the Rangers by herself. It's not what you needed to see if you're the AdMech player.
Brad is helping DJ out with removing units, making sure that optimal for DJ. So good sportsmanship there. The DJ is spreading CP to interrupt with the chickens on the Hellions.
Oh, yeah.
Down with 3 CP.
And that makes sense too. The chickens are very good at killing Hellions. Hellions having 2 wounds, the chickens doing 2 damage a pop. That makes complete sense. I don't know that the Hellions were likely to kill the Dragoons anyway, so getting your value out of this makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so DJ is spending more CP to make sure that the interrupt explodes on hits and the +1 to hit. So he's trying to.
Now the interesting thing,
maximize.
The interesting thing we're seeing there, Brad made a very smart play at the top. He based the topmost Dragoon with the Succubus so that it could not move, which means that the 2 Dragoons in the middle who would like to pile into the Hellions to get some extra attacks down at the bottom actually can't, because since the backmost Dragoon cannot move, he is stressed as to how far apart those middle ones can move while still maintaining coherency. So excellent play from Brad. You see this. I see this a lot with I do this with Blood Angels when I'm playing against like large units like Necrons or anything like that that might be kind of strung out a little bit. You attack them on both sides. You base the ends. The middle no longer can go anywhere, as the ends can't move. The middle can't get further away from the ends. Expert play from Brad here, employing that great strategy. We saw David trying to move a middle one and realizing he couldn't. All right, so let's see how many of these saves did the Hellions make. looks like 3 so far. 4, 5.
Only 2 Hellions left, so
2 left.
the eight die. Right?
Wow. All right. That's a good interrupt for sure. Very strong
Absolutely.
interrupt.
3 CP, absolutely worth it.
To be fair, I think this is still, Brad still picked the correct thing. The thing that matters the most in the AdMech list is the big units of Rangers. That's where a lot of their power and flexibility is. Taking out that with the Succubus first I think still makes the most sense. You still have 10 more Hellions in reserve if you feel like they're that important. I think this was still the absolute right play, letting the Hellions get interrupted. So we have the Slith Party and the Succubus left into the robot. So we have the Witches that are, I mean, we don't even really need to roll that into the Infiltrators, let's be honest. Those Infiltrators are not going to be lasting long.
We're doing this right here,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure, I think maybe GJ might agree that the Infiltrators are probably dead.
Yeah. We have 1 left with 1 wound, or we have a few more attacks to roll?
We're running our. This is half the attacks right now, and DJ's saving.
Okay.
So we got 3 at -2 and 11 at -1.
Okay.
Sounds like.
Alright, second volley into the Infiltrators.
Uh, 5 at -2 and 7 at -1. One guy left. Infiltrator squad. And then the 2 damage weapons. I think 3 going through on that, so probably the squad right there.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Alright, so
That's smart
it
dog.
took all the attacks, but that's pretty much what we expected. I would have been very shocked if any Infiltrator survived that. The 3 wounds makes a difference for sure, but. Alright, so the Drukhari now control the 3 exterior, and this is probably exactly why he did this too, is that he knew there was a chance that something can get interrupted, whether it be the Infiltrators or the Hellions, so he wanted to make sure he had 4 so that if there was an interrupt that took the objective away, that he still had the opportunity to get Stranglehold. Now he does still have 2 Hellions in the middle, so he's going to control 4 at the end of this turn. The Hellions are going to outnumber the Dragoons. There's only 1 touching that center objective. So we are easily picking up Stranglehold this turn. And we're going to be holding David to a 5. I think David may have been really hoping that the Dragoons actually wiped out the Hellions so that he could have got a 10 at least on primary. But unfortunately, that's not how it played out. All right, these robot attacks now, we're attacking the robots, Pete.
Yeah. Into the robots, 8 mortals for robots so far.
Wow.
Pretty brutal.
8 mortals. Remember, they have. The robots,
Precision.
robots have 7 wounds each. That's still only 1 robot.
Yeah, well, I mean, the precision blows is absolutely doing work right now.
Yeah. Your robots are 100 points apiece. Like, even losing one of them is a big deal. Each robot is worth like 2 Drukhari units.
I mean, that's like a quarter of his army right there.
Yeah. Each robot is literally worth like 1.5 or 2 Drukhari units.
So DJ is spending 1 CP to have 1 unit get a 4-up fiddle pain on mortals. So we are basically ignore 50% of those, so you might be able to take all of them.
All right, we'll see what the final say is here. Or final tally of mortals, at least. We'll get Pete to give us an update on what's happening here when this conversation's over.
They're discussing the wounds allocation for regular attacks and mortals, and they're making sure they're not making mistakes right now.
Sure.
So I think they're agreeing on it, because obviously if you can slow roll the mortals to one attack. But I think they're just agreeing to fast roll it right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Valerie, I guess at certain times you can say 100 points is undercosted for what the Castellan robots have been able to do. If they're going to be 100-point models in this game, they're going to have to do more than they've done thus far, which is kill 5 mandrakes. So we'll see what happens. Monster, yeah, 4 up against mortals. He-mandrakes, yeah. Monster, absolutely. 4 up against mortals is definitely a nice strategy to have. It's not one you're going to use every game, but just knowing that you have it for 1 CP, there's going to be times where it comes up huge, for sure. Especially on your 100-point models that have 7 wounds. You don't want to give any free wounds away through mortals. So it seems like a very nice pairing with the Castellans. Looks like our players are confirming with our judge the way wounds have to be allocated, so we'll just wait a moment for that. We appreciate everyone's trying to make sure they get everything right in this. Our head judge there at the table, the wonderful CK, Tau expert. He's head judge the Motor City Mayhem major for us back in April, so we're very excited to have him be judging this major as well. He and our floor judge, John, have been doing an excellent job all weekend. You know, I don't think that he has any other armies. The way I've never seen him anywhere without Tau. I think he's just a literal Tau diehard. I'm a Blood Angels diehard, but I still have 4 other armies. I don't even know if he does that. He has Harlequins. All right. Well, that's definitely the opposite army from Tau. I've never seen him show up to an event with Harlequins, but I've only known him for a few months, so Definitely. Last time I played him, he showed up with like triple Yavara. I was over here like trying to have fun with my Silent King. We had a really good game. I don't want to disparage that. We had a really interesting game where both of us were like not committing to the middle of the table for fear of the other person's stuff. But play against triple Yavara is like definitely fear-inducing for sure. All right, looks like Brad was able to pick up. Pete, can you confirm we picked up 2 Castellan robots and there's 3 more on the table? Pete may have stepped away to answer a TO call for a moment. We'll wait. It'll look like we picked up 2 Castellan robots. He hasn't played them despite them being vastly superior. Alright, well, if we killed 2 Castellan robots, that's a big deal. Again, each of them being 100 points. Picking up 2 of them, that removes a lot of resources. And we're already down to 1 big brick left. So this is it's not looking great as far as stuff goes. And as I constantly hear in various streams on the Art of War, you win 5th or you win 9th edition just by having stuff. It's got to have stuff that does things. Brad's definitely winning the stuff war right now. And we know there's still 2 Taraxi left off the table. There's still 3 Infiltrators left off the table. But Brad's still got stuff left off the table too. Looks like he brought on all the Raiders. We still got 10 Hellions left off the table. Alright, looks like the Hellion, or the robots are punching back. They've taken out some of these little witches, or incubi, whatever they were. Urgol, the Slith party, right. Okay. Pete, can we confirm there are 3 Castellans left on the table?
There's 2.
2 Castellans left on the table, okay. So we killed 21 wounds of Castellans. That's that succubus did some work. Let's leave it at that, I guess.
Yeah. 300 points of work, I would say.
Yep. 300 to 320, I guess, depending on which models died first. So yeah, David's definitely in a predicament here. He's down to 1 big brick of guys who've kind of pinned themselves in a little bit behind that ruin, kind of committed to holding the priority target. So all we've got left in the middle of the table, we got like 5 Rangers up top. They're still alive. We got 5 Dragoons. We got 2 Castellans. We got 10 Taraxi in reserves. We got 3 Infiltrators in reserves. Those reserves are going to have to come in and do some work very quickly. Let's see, who's that? Moostradamus. The mortal wounds came from the precision blows succubus. Not as broken as it was a few months ago, but still puts out a large number of mortal wounds. And in this case, she put out 8. I love the name though, Moostradamus. It's pretty awesome. All right, let's see. Pete, are the players updating the scorecard at this point? Or are we still attacking? Now, it looks like we moved to David's command phase. Looks like he's handing out buffs. So we know David. It looks like David's going to be on a 5 on primary. Brad absolutely controls the 3 corners, 2 on the left, 1 on the bottom right. And then I believe that Brad still controls the middle with 2 Hellions outnumbering the single Dragoon that is touching the Hellions in combat. We'll double check. Pete, can you confirm, did the Hellions auto-pass morale so they could stay on that objective? And I will double check the list to see which succubus has precision blows. He has 2.
Brad rolled a 1 for his morale.
Oh my god. Brad,
Money.
Brad just, always lucky. Never fails. All right. So the precision blows succubus had razor flails. Yep. The succubus that did immortal wounds had adrenalite, dark glows, toxic precision blows, tolerated ambition, and razor flails. So yeah, Brad not needing to auto pass because Brad just knew he was going to roll a 1 on the Hellions leadership. So why waste a CP when you know you're going to roll a 1? Probably in his mind, he was just like, I failed this automatically, and then I have a 67% chance to just tie on the objective with a single model to still hold him to a 5. Kia Monster.
Table 5, Tao versus Sisters. Sisters is currently winning against the Tao.
Okay.
The one we had, what's it, round 3?
Yeah, Steven style. Yeah. Pete, Gia Monster with the zinger of the day, talking about how, Brad is always lucky with the morale rolling a 1. Gia Monster clarifying all the luck in the world outside of what he drew in the genetic lottery. Pete's having to let the heat out of his collar for how good that bird was.
Lordy, lordy.
All right, so Dragoons, it looks like, have fallen out of combat to come and just say, this is our objective, we want to sit here. Brad probably not caring while he holds the 3 corners. Again, Brad's in a predicament a little bit where he needs to hold that top right objective in his home field, his priority target. He can't let that go. But there's 10 Hellions about to come on the board. He also has got to make sure those Hellions can't come over and do whatever they want to whoever is holding that objective. He has got to screen out this turn to make sure the Hellions cannot challenge his priority target. Because at that point, it would just be... I don't even know what he would have to do to dig out of that hole at that point on turns 4 and 5. Cannot lose that objective. You can't lose those 20 guys right now. All right, looks like we're measuring to see is there any space for the sterilizers to come in here. Players confirming that maybe Brad's intent had been to, It's like players confirming that Brad's intent had been to screen this out. David's fine with that. Measuring from the opposite direction. Again, both players have been doing a great job playing by intent the entire game. Something we really stress here at DOG. So we're seeing that David allowing Brad to reposition something by a few millimeters to make sure that it's screened out as intended. All right, but unfortunately, we did a lot of work in this hole killing those mandrakes last turn. So there's probably a big hole for the sterilizers over near this crater at this point.
Take a 5-minute break to go get the store credit cards for the prizes, so I'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Okay. and looking for the best possible places we could put these sterilizers. Their flamers definitely do work in a Drukhari. Alright. Looks like we have a decent spot here. And there's only 5 of them. Yeah, we should easily be able to fit 5 here, it looks like. Ooh, maybe not. Looks like 3. Yep, let's move that building out of the way for a moment. Okay. May only be able to get 3 there, so then the question is that good enough? Now, these may be the infiltrators, actually. These may never be the sterilizers. We do have a 3-man unit. These could be the infiltrators. They don't need as much space, obviously. We may be here just try to hit a 9-inch charge and harass some of these infantry units. And here come the sterilizers. This makes a lot of sense. We're bringing them down not specifically to kill anything, although if we get shots on these witches, we'll take them. But as we mentioned, we need to make sure that Hellions cannot come in and just dive bomb our last 20-man brick and lose our party target. So these sterilizers are going to help with that as well, pushing back the ability for pushing back where the Hellions are even allowed to land. All right, now we are under an hour left in the game. We have this round is scheduled to end at about 5 o'clock. Both players have been playing at a really good clip, though. Looking for a place to put our last unit of sterilizers, it looks like. All right, sterilizers coming in on the outside of the Dragoon wall. Those are the sterilizers. They have weird Leonardo da Vinci wings, but basically they're just flamer jump pack models. Now, the annoying thing that Snigs, thank you for the follow. We appreciate it. Hope you had fun this weekend. We were just talking about your excellent run with Deathwatch here at the tournament, so congratulations on that. The annoying thing, now they're not going to be able to do it this turn, but the sterilizers are the unit that has access to the jump back up in the air strat, which is super annoying. A little bit harder to use super well, bringing both units here in turn 3. So both units will, if they survive the next turn, can do their thing, and then at the end of turn 4 go back into reserves to make sure that the Drukhari cannot mess with them. and then they can come on the table again on turn 5 to maybe finish something like Octarius Data or User Flamers again or whatever. So there's a lot of strategic plays that are available to those winged sterilizer units. And thank you for the compliment, Mr. Thomas. Glad you're enjoying it. We've had a few little hiccups this weekend. We've been trying some new stuff with the table boss. We think we're starting to kind of find the stride that we like, so we're hoping we can do more of this in the future as we go. You want to say the fluffs, they go after men who don't pay their child support. That's I guess I haven't read that part of the AdMech Codex yet, Gia Monster. All right. So it looks like we're still looking for a spot for the last unit. Okay, so the last unit of sterilizers is going to come in right now, it looks like, and support the first unit of sterilizers. Looks like there may not have been an opening on the left side of the table like David was hoping. So we have a double line, double flank of sterilizers here, screening out the Hellions from being able to get to the remaining 20-man unit on the primary target. So David went first. This is the first half of turn 3. Booster Damas. Brad has not had his turn 3 yet. So we're still going to get to see Brad come in. Brad, this is David bringing in these reserves because he has to, because it's turn 3. Brad will also have to bring in his remaining reserves of the Hellions that we're talking about, which are the very scary, like Green Goblin looking units that could very easily harass that 20-man brick that's up in the top right corner. Brad's score on round 2, both players got 10 on primary on their second turn. Brad did hold his priority target, so he's at 3. He got Stranglehold for 3, and then he has not yet finished. It doesn't look like, at least, or they haven't updated if he has. He's not yet finished his second Retrieve Octarius David. So Brad right now sitting on 26. Again, David has a lead. I don't think either of them have updated their primary or their turn 3 yet. So David. Oh, nope. They did not update. That's the turn 1 score. Yeah. So Brad should be at 32 right now. Potentially 36 if he did get 4 points on Retrieve Octarius Data. Yeah. So the score is accurate. They just did not update it at the end of turn 2. So we'll probably get it here from David at the end of this turn. Thank you, Stiggs. We're glad you had a good time, man. Always good to see you. A lot of people that were cheering on Death Watch this weekend, I know. All right. Pete normally would be updating or helping them to remember to update the score. Pete had to go and deal with prize support. So once Pete gets back here in a minute, we'll see if we can remind David at the end of his turn while Brad is starting to move. We can get a more accurate update on the score. But it's still very close on the scoreboard, absolutely. My best guess right now is that it is currently 46 to 36. 41 to 36, because David was held to a 5-point primary this turn. So we'll see what David's able to pull off here. So again, we see the double air screens basically. Brad or David just really making sure that there's no easy place for the Hellions to come in from that side of the table, that he won't at least get a turn to try to deal with them. Oh, thank you, Stiggs. We're glad you enjoyed it. Definitely look forward to the next one already. All right. Looks like David's lining up or looking to see what kind of line of sight he has on something back there in the top left or top right. And it looks like it's flamer time. So we're putting the first unit of sterilizers into the witches on the bottom right corner. So David is rolling off camera. He's got a little dice box over there. So we'll see what happens here in a minute. I mean, Booster Damas, I think, it's been, from a streaming standpoint, and I'll say this from a personal standpoint as someone who likes to create content, this has not been my favorite event as far as streams go, not because the games haven't been good and the players haven't been great. But because our first round we had Admech versus Admech, then we had Drukhari versus Admech, then we had Admech versus Tau, then we got to have something interesting with Sisters versus Orcs. Now we're having Admech versus Drukhari. So like 75% of our games have been Admech and Drukhari this round. Or this tournament. So I think it's definitely at least an accurate reflection of where the meta is. But I'm looking forward to new books coming out and hoping that that's going to help shape things up. Because I think people just enjoy the game more when there's a variety of stuff going on. And I think right now we're not at a point where there's a lot of variety, or at least not enough that people are happy about it. So it's one of those things, like, no matter who wins in this match, I feel like we all lose a little bit. Although I guess conversely, no matter who loses this match, we all win a little bit because that army lost. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Yeah, I don't know. It's we'll have to see. I'm not. If things are aggressively costed, maybe. I don't know. Well, I trust GW to do something ridiculous. Yeah, that's fair, Stiggs. This is there was the soft FAQ. It wasn't anything too crazy that came out yesterday, or came out Friday. Was not legal for this event as it came out way too late for us to use it here. So we'll see. Drukhari got a little bit of an FAQ and their numbers went down a little bit. We'll see if Admech numbers go down a little bit. I have a feeling we're going to have to wait and see a second, much heavier nerf bat in a few months, where we'll get Admech to finally a palatable place, hopefully. But you gotta take the first step before you take the second, right? All right, so it looks like a large number of witches died. I don't know if Pete's still at the table. No, Pete's doing TO stuff right now. I'm not sure how many witches are left there. The Hellions are definitely gone. They got flamed out of existence. So, David has done a good job of reclaiming his quarter of the board, that top right quarter. We'll see. I mean, Brad still has the whole left side of the table, really, plus access to the bottom right if he wants it. So we'll see. David's doing the best he can to kind of reestablish his footprint here. Yeah, I think Game Monster, the Orc Codex, definitely not on the level of Drukhari or Admech. I think it's definitely much more comparable. Thank you for the follow, Mr. Damas. We appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream this weekend. I think the Orc Codex is definitely more comparable to the Sisters Codex. I love the Sisters Codex. My wife and I are starting a Sisters Army right now because we think the book looks like a lot of fun with a lot of options. And there go the last two Castellan robots. We are now out of Rock'em Sock'em robots, unfortunately. Looks like the Succubus did her thing and finished them off. That probably means the Succubus is now unchecked to charge into the Dragoons if she so chooses. And I'm going to imagine Dragoons do not fare dramatically better than the Rock'em Sock'em robots. But yeah, I think the Orc Codex, I love the Sisters Codex. I think it has a lot of cool stuff in it, a lot of options. I think the Orc Codex is very comparable to it. I'm not sure it's as good as the Sisters Codex, but I think it's in that kind of tier. Which definitely, if that is the case, I think there's going to be a lot of interesting options that people can do with Orcs, and I'm looking forward to see what they are. He has competitive edge on the other one, Mr. Thomas. He has two Succubuses. One, I think, died. One was up in the top middle, and it killed 15 Rangers last turn. And then the one that's at the bottom that was fighting these Castellans had the other thing. Yeah, so he split the difference between two Succubuses. His list has two Succubuses and an Archon. Yeah, hey, look, the Castellans had their chance to real steal. They did kill most of that Slith party, to be fair, which is not easy to do. The problem is they didn't kill the Succubus, which probably a more important thing to kill. But people fear the Slith party. They fear the Urgles. Yeah, and if you're interested, Moostradamus, we do have the list if you want to see how Brad has got things split up. We do exclamation point lists, and both of them are there. You can see how Brad has split his things among his army. All right, looks like we're getting an update on the scorecard, so I will go and see what do we got now. All right, so we are updating. We are all the way updated through David's turn, and we have the primary updated for Brad, beginning of Brad's turn. Brad was killed off of that bottom right objective, and now the Dragoons have stolen the middle objective. So he is back down to a 10 on primary, which David absolutely had to do. David has got his third priority targets up to 9 points, and again, that's not grind him down. There's an error on BCP, that is eradication of the flesh, which he did get for the third time. He finished his third Octarius data. He's now up to 8, so David up to a solid 51 points at this point in the game. Brad did get his 10 on primary for his third turn. So Brad up to 46. Again, we're going to assume that Brad's going to be getting his third priority target. Brad, he has designed his list or his game plan around getting Stranglehold. So we definitely interested to see. This is a very, very close game. Assuming he gets priority target with Stranglehold, it's a tie game, or he's up 52-51, not even counting Octarius data. So we're going to see what Brad chooses to do here on his third turn. Go back to the table. We gotta get you on the camera that's pointed at Brad and David next time, Snigs. Like there's definitely room in that camera for someone table dancing. Let me tell you. So Brad's done a good job of taking control of the board here. Again, that objective in the bottom right, I'm pretty sure is just empty. There's just nothing on it. Everything got shot off of it. That may be where the Hellions want to go. The problem is going to be, again, there's 10 sterilizers with flamers directly above that objective. So, the Hellions don't necessarily want to charge those flamers by themselves. Looks like Brad's starting to do some measures here. We'll see. Maybe he thinks he can get a Raider in range somehow there, or put some shots in. Brad really, Brad doesn't have to fight for the middle of the board here. Brad just needs to kind of, if he can control that L where he created with the two objectives on the left and the one on the bottom right, the way he's got his secondary set up, he could probably win 45. Looks like maybe 45 to 35 on primary at that point, and then he can just continue to get his secondaries. If the players continue to hold par on secondaries, then this is a game of who can win on primary. And right now, secondary-wise, it looks like both players are on path to really max each thing. So it looks like this game is shifted into a primary battle, which definitely seems like it should favor Brad, who's going second. I know Brad, I've talked to Brad about this in the past. Brad is a big proponent of getting to a point where you don't have to interact with your opponent. He loves looking for the opportunity. Where can I can max my score, but I don't have to attack my opponent. I don't have to do stuff to my opponent to do it. I can just mind my own business and get my points. So if Brad doesn't have to crash that back right corner, he's not going to. Yeah, I did walk out into the store today. I was pleasantly surprised how many non-40K miniature games were being played out in the front of the store. So glad to see various miniature games being supported here. This is my second time here at Toledo Game Room. Gotta say, they've done a great job hosting us this weekend. This back room that they have, excellent. We were able to get 33 tables in here. It has been, honestly, too cold here. I was worried the last time I was here, it was crazy hot. The air conditioner barely worked. We've had the opposite problem this weekend. I've been freezing my ass off the whole time, which is a much better problem to have in the summer, so I'm very happy with that. They've been excellent hosts. I have never seen a store with as many miniatures for sale as this store has. I got into the bits room. I'd seen it at Gen Con before, But I got into the bits room today, just looking at all the shelves and walls of fully painted armies they have for sale, all the boxes of stuff that's hard to get out of print, just for 40K in Age of Sigmar. Very, very surprised, or very, very pleasantly surprised at just the magnificent selection of stock that the Toledo Game Room has. So if you're in the Ohio area and you've never been to the Toledo Game Room, highly recommend coming to check it out if you're interested in buying miniatures, as I honestly can say I've never seen more miniatures for sale in any place. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I would much rather be cold than hot, Valerie. As a fat man, I would much rather be cold than hot. Because when I'm hot, I get sweaty, and that's just not fun for anybody. All right, we got a Raider coming up, poking his little Dark Lance around, perhaps. You know what? I don't believe for a second, Snigs, that anybody at this event has had a few too many. That would never happen at a Death or Glory event. Nobody drinks here. We are straight as arrows at Death or Glory, let me tell you. All right. It looked like we were measuring shots into that. What's the remains of that Ranger in the back? Which, again, maybe part of the plan is we just need to, like I said, take away stuff. Win the stuff war. Just have more stuff that can go do things than the AdMech player. The Dragoons are cool, but they can't do a ton as a single unit, so we'll see. They do have the hygiene rule. This is one of the stores that say, don't come in here if your hygiene's bad, and I appreciate that. I used to judge a lot of Magic events, travel the country. It's how I met my wife, traveling the country, running Grand Prix and Star City events. And the number of people that go to events like this that think that just, spritzing themselves with Edge body spray or whatever it is good enough, it's very disappointing. So I'm glad that that's not an issue here. Yeah, I'll agree with that, Snigs. Brad had his Magic Brown bag yesterday, and I have not seen the Magic Brown bag today. I think day 2 we get serious Brad. All right, so we see those Hellions came in here. It looks like Brad might be considering what kind of charges he could do that would let him get Hellions onto that objective. The problem, again, those sterilizers have flamers. Those are not necessarily the things you want to charge. So we'll see what the plan is here. Oh, these are just Scourges. That makes way more sense. So not only are the Hellions down there, he's not going to be relying necessarily on the Hellions to get that Stranglehold objective. He has the Scourges that were still off the table that we forgot about that can come on and just land on it since they don't have to be within 6 inches of a board edge. So absolutely the correct play there. Just tag that, get your 3 points from Stranglehold. Don't worry about having to survive and charge with enough models to charge the sterilizers and string back to the objective. I missed a follow, but Revosh, thank you for the follow. We appreciate it. Hope you are enjoying the finals we have of the Showdown at Frogtown this weekend. They're here at the top table playing for frogs. Remove host straight limit. I'm not sure what that is, but thank you for the follow. We appreciate it. We are here, as I said, top table, round 5, 2 undefeated players, undefeated AdMech versus undefeated Drukhari. They are playing for the frogs. We have trophies with frogs on them, specifically, as Pete told me, Catach and Devil Toads. And, the players want the frogs. They are here to win the frogs at Frogtown. That sounds terrifying, Guillemot. Kramer tried picking up drunken Brad at the sushi place. I've seen drunken Brad wrestling on the 2nd floor of Motor City Mayhem, and so I imagine something terrible would happen in a similar way if someone's trying to pick him up.
I hate to see Optimal. Dare me? You dare me?
Dare you what?
Brad right now.
No. Well, he's not drunk right now. I don't think he's drunk at all today. All right, so we're putting shots into trying to finish off that remaining Ranger unit, it looks like. Just want them to go away. The nice thing is these Dragoons are really kind of impeded by this building here, too. That if he takes away the infantry that can easily just walk through everything, the Dragoons, you know, they're still vehicles. It's going to be annoying trying to get them to come across the table through these ruins. Hearing a good old-fashioned wah out there in the event hall. Love it. Oh, it doesn't matter. I assume it's Tucci, so.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you for your support in chat there, Stiggs. We appreciate you.
Dude, I can't hear you out there, like, honestly at all.
Oh, man. Is
It's
it
so loud
is it
in
just
here.
loud out there? Okay. I know
It's
this is my
so
mic.
loud in here.
Yeah.
Like, I can't hear any of the chat that you're doing, but the stream looks good.
Well, we appreciate it.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Functions for it.
This is a, you know, nice cozy room, but it definitely keeps the volume trapped inside for sure.
Yeah, when I do Glass City, my wife does lunch out of here.
That's something we should think about next time. That's how we elevate the tournament experience. Is we just have the buffet in here.
That's what she does. She does,
Yeah.
like, lunch. Like, you buy hot dogs,
Look,
tacos, shit like
you
that.
can't do your wife be an excellent cook. Like, get out of here with that.
What?
You can't all have a good wife that cooks well. Okay? not everyone has that.
All right. I agree.
What do you want from us, dude?
Look, no, you clear out your refrigerator and you bring your 50 jars of sour cream or whatever it is, and we just give people sour
Charge
cream.
my Polish beans. I literally have 50
Literally, I went to this man's house, opened his fridge. There was 30 cans of sour cream in his fridge. I'm not exaggerating. Literally 30 cans of sour cream.
I love how Jason, I felt,
He's like, that doesn't seem weird. Yeah, that doesn't seem weird.
Sometimes you need sour cream, man.
All right, looks like we're just moving around some of the Taraxi as they've been coming out the base, and we're probably just pulling ones that are not stuck to their base. We definitely picked some of those out.
Put it in there, glue that like that, cut that right there. Done.
There you go.
Or you could just weld it so it doesn't wiggle, and then flip it upside down. It's already a trophy.
Stop it.
So it has a base on the bottom.
Stop your logic.
Sorry, Pete's very excited. He's already started planning for trophies for Motor City Mayhem. He has actual car parts to give out as trophies next year.
Can you flip to a
I can flip to a camera, yeah. We'll flip to a moment. Pete would like to show off our fancy car trophies for Motor City next year. So, which, you know, Motor City Mayhem giving out car parts makes perfect sense. I'm just saying,
It's
you weld that,
literally a car
that's an
part.
actual trophy at that point. That's a real trophy.
No. You gotta like do it like this. So you cut it right here.
But I'm just saying, you don't
It's a
have to cut
piston.
it. But it could just be a trophy upside down.
Well, you cut it right here and put the base right there.
I'm just saying, my idea works too. My idea works
Shame.
also.
Shame.
You need to be careful with that. You can kill a man. All right. Okay, so it looks like the Hellions made a charge into the sterilizers. Survived the Flamer Overwatch, which is always good.
I'd like to point out we didn't use a single chest block the entire.
No one needed a chest clock. No one cares. Like, Pete, we haven't had any game. We've had, like, what, one game each round that went overtime, I think, Pete? everyone came ready to play. We're playing quick. We haven't had any contentious issues about slow play or anything like that. So, should be 23 minutes left. Because this round started at 2 and it's 4:37.
Bottom of 3, they still have a lot of models on board. That table. I don't think 20 trades might be enough.
Yeah, it's been a very dense 2 turns for sure. Players have been doing a lot of stuff. We are in Brad's charge phase, so hopefully we'll get one more turn out of both players. Looks like we had some witches or incubi down the bottom into those 3 infiltrators. The Hellions have charged the 5 sterilizers on the right. Looks like that's probably all the charges, unless this. Oh no, the succubus looks like I see her there in the middle of the table. Looks like our succubus that murdered all of our fun robots is maybe going up to, stop the dragoons from having fun as well. Looks like that may be what's happening. Looks like we just put a wound on a dragoon. Yep, killed 2 dragoons, wounded the 3rd one, leaving 2 in combat with the succubus to be able to try to kill it back. Not an impossible task. Those dragoons do work in melee. Again, Tesla weapons, exploding 6s, each 2 damage. Probably only going to get 2 attacks here, but that's a lot. Or 2 units to attack, or 2 models. Sorry, 2 models to attack. That succubus is just the fun police. That succubus is running around making sure none of the cool models get to do anything interesting. So we'll see what these attacks are into. We saw Brad roll a bunch of dice. I'm going to imagine that is maybe the Hellions. Yep. And as expected, the Hellions pick up the sterilizers. No more sterilizers. I don't know. We'll see if the... It doesn't look like the Hellions are able to engage the other sterilizers, so they're probably going to get to do their thing. So we're going to get to an interesting thing, or interesting point in the game is, it really seems like Brad's winning on the board control, but Brad is ahead in primary, and it looks like they're going to stay even on secondaries. So now it's going to be a question of what is David going to do with these sterilizers. We talked about they can go up into reserve, come back down on turn 5, maybe finish his retrieve Darius data perhaps if he wants to. He can stay here and just start trying to clean up things, use flamers into the Hellions. If he wants to go up and try to do the turn 5 play, again, assuming they get to a turn 5, that would maybe try a concession saying, I'm not going to win this game, but I want to get as many points to still maybe try to come in 3rd. That's possible. So we'll see kind of what his approach is here. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you realize that maybe the game is out of your hands at that point, trying to just guarantee you're in a position to podium, absolutely fair, makes sense.
Yo, can you hear me, Lyle?
Yeah. We got Tom on chat now. I was going to ask Pete while you were still there. I have no idea where my phone is. This is weird. Do we know or is there a result on table 2 yet?
Let me find out for you guys.
Oh, there's my phone. Dropped it on the floor.
Looks like
Can't hear you if you're talking, Tom. Sometimes the button's weird.
Yep, looks like we're middle of round 4, and it's looking like Admec's in pretty good control of the game.
Okay. So Admec currently seems to be leading against Sisters.
According to Michelle, Admec
Admec is what? We missed that last part.
is going to win according to Michelle.
Okay. So Michelle, our Sisters player, saying that it looks like Admec is going to win. So excellent showing for Michelle, one of our Death or Glory players. Going 4-1 at a major. Definitely nothing to be ashamed of for sure if that ends up being the case. But it sounds like we're going to have Admec as one of our 2 undefeated players.
Actually, he
Sorry, hit your button again, Tom.
even though he has not lost, he has not won out. He actually at 4-0 when he has a tie.
Oh, he has a tie. Okay.
Yep, there's only 3 undefeated players technically.
Okay. So he is looking to come in second then. Oh, look, someone else in Discord or in Twitch that I can ban. All right, let me go deal with that.
He's going to come in second for ICT points, but it won't be overall.
Okay. Let me go deal with this person in chat that I need to ban. All right, Tom, does it look like the players are talking out what's going to happen at this point?
Negative. They're still fighting it out.
Okay. Both players just stopped. I wasn't sure if they were just talking things out or not.
The Advent player was looking up a rule.
Okay. All right, and those witches or incubi at the bottom removed the 3 infiltrators as well. So basically everything that got charged died. We're down to the 2.5 dragoons. Looks like, are these... Tom, can you tell us, did the Hellions engage the other infiltrators, and this is a result of that engagement? These sterilizers, I'm sorry, killed some of those Hellions?
Yeah, he piled in into the protection, which I'm not 100% sure why he did that. And then lost 4 guys as a result. I don't think Brad realizes that he actually can fall back and shoot.
So maybe thinking that he could tie them up from going to shoot something else, and that may not end up working out the way he expected.
I'm thinking that's probably what he wants. He wanted to tie them up and prevent them from advancing, or he did not want to charge another unit. But he paid a price.
Yep. Losing half the Hellions is definitely a hefty price for sure. All right, we're getting a pile in from the Dragoons. We're going to see if they can kill the Succubus. Definitely possible these Dragoons do work in melee with their Tesla weapons. Exploding, the 6s hit 3 times, 2 damage. Definitely can add up against the Succubus. She has been the fun police this game. She's been running around killing all the cool units. Let's see if he can put a stop to her her tyranny. got David rolling off camera. We'll see what happens.
They're rolling well. Just got an extra 12 dice to explode.
Yep, there's a lot of explosions from these things. There goes our succubus. The fun police has been removed. The fun police has been relieved of duty. No more fun police. All right. Now the other big thing is that does free up the dragoons to go and do what they want on David's turn as well, as they are no longer engaged. You must. I didn't realize the Bellacore kit was so bad to assemble. I haven't opened one or anything, as we're not playing Chaos right now. But I'm definitely disappointed. It's been a weird trade. They've been making much better kits lately, but they're definitely, I've been building sisters, and there's definitely some that are very annoying to build for sure. So it's this weird trade-off of cooler stuff but harder to build. All right. So as far as we can tell, Brad at the end of his turn got another 3 for party targets, another 3 for stranglehold, and probably another 4 for retrieve Octarius data. So Brad is probably sitting at 56 points to David's 51. The players only have about 10 minutes left, so it looks like we may be trying to get a very fast turn 4 under the clock. So players probably not taking time to update the score right now on the app. Absolutely fine. We totally understand why that would be the case. Right now, we believe that at the beginning of David's turn, he has a 5-point lead, so let's try to keep that in mind. Yeah, luckily for me, Dragon Beef, I don't have to worry about painting the sisters because my wife is an amazing painter, and she decided we were going to start sisters as something she could use as a painting project, so she's going to do all of that. I just get to take them to tournaments and show them off. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a win for me. I do have to help build them because I'm the house builder and the house kit basher. But she's already started painting and doing stuff. So because that's the part I'm terrible at. Well, not terrible, but I hate doing it because I don't like doing things I'm bad at, and I'm not a great painter. It takes me a very long time to paint stuff to a reasonable standard. So I am perfectly happy with this arrangement. My wife will make me a beautiful army as long as I build it for her.
Give me a second. Looks like we're starting to talk things out here.
Starting to talk things out? Okay. All right, so we'll wait for Tom to give us the final update on what these guys are agreeing on. Yeah, the thing that looks like is going to be the main determinant here is David got held to a turn where he had a 5 on primary, and we are assuming that Brad's going to be able to get a 15 on primary at the end of turn 5. And that's going to be a pretty strong indicator of the likelihood of Brad to win, I think. Oh, well, yeah, I got very lucky with, in many ways, with my wife, Kia Monster. Definitely married up for a lot of reasons. What? What? I was just looking around while I talk.
You're looking directly into my eyes, my soul.
You don't have a soul.
That's true.
All right. My wife's first army was actually Death Cards, so we are not doing the My Little Pony stuff. All right. Does not look like we're talking stuff out. We're measuring some things, or maybe they're measuring about what they think they could get points-wise. Oh, David's back to moving his dragoons. It looks like David wants to send the dragoons over to go charge that raider and take that top left objective, then send these rangers down to hold that. Again, that Brad should be able to kill the rangers in the middle to get stranglehold, I would expect. I guess it depends on what's still in the raiders. think there's still something in one of the Raiders. And obviously there is still 20 guys in that back right corner. The third brick has not come out of that hiding place yet. So you put all the buffs on the half unit of Rangers that are left, perhaps. One of them on the Dragoons. Oh, the Harridan. Well, we're trying to. We don't. We're about to talk out the last turn. We're trying to figure out the last turn for the finals. Well, we need to know who the actual champion is first.
Wow. Around. Yeah, it's just like.
All right. So maybe Tom's listening. Maybe he can give us an update on what they're talking about at the table right now. All right, we got the handshake. Looks like they've agreed on a final score. And we will get the update from Tom. I'm reasonably confident that Brad's winning this game, but we'll see what the players see on the table there. We'll go over to our scorecard as the players put this in to make it official. We'll look at what they have come up with for our final score. Anarchy lol. I think it's Tom was making an effort to not disturb the players while they were in their conversations. He was trying to whisper. Pete, not as worried about that sometimes. Tevel Hagelslag, they had about 10 minutes left and they started talking it out. They both finished 3 turns. They were very dense 3 turns. There was a lot of death on both sides. So
I got the final score in 88 Brad, 83 Admin.
All right, and so it looks like the difference, as we expected, they held exactly the same score in secondary. Brad was able to hold David to a 5 on primary on turn 3. And that looks like it may have been the difference in the game, managing to win by 5 points exactly. So excellent game from both players. You know, they I think the average, according to the 40K data center, is that if you get 80 points, you like win 80% of your games or something. So seeing both players get 80 points, excellent game from both guys. We saw a lot of death and destruction on both. Very interesting to see the melee robots being used, the Dragoons and the Castellans. Excellent tactical counterplay by Brad, just sending out surgical strikes with his Drukhari list to go and deal with things so that he could just try to continue to win the board. He found the turn that he needed to win the board on, was able to hold David to a 5 one time, and that proved to be enough to win the game. So excellent, well fought. That means that Brad Chester from Art of War is going to be our inaugural 2021 Showdown at Frogtown champion. Brad Chester will be winning the frogs. He will be taking the frogs home. He is now the frog father. And I'm going to make sure that he puts it on a jersey at some point. He needs to be known as the frog father. So, excellent game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We had a great weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. If you missed any of our games, the other 4 rounds are already up on YouTube. As soon as I end the stream, it will be up on YouTube as well. So please check us out, Death or Glory Wargaming on YouTube, to check out any of the games you missed. If anybody flipped Brad off Teeble Haggleslag, I'm sure it was a joke because Brad flips people off all the time. So I'm sure, I didn't see it, but I'm sure it was not very accusatory. There's been no ill will this weekend that I have been aware of. Very excellent event. I was at an event 2 weeks ago, weekend before Lone Star. Don't want to get that confused with Lone Star, where there was definitely some testiness between some of the gentlemen playing, some physicality that you never want to see. None of that this weekend. Looks like everyone had a great time just hanging out, playing 40K, getting their drink on, which is exactly what you want to see at our event. So we're so happy that it has gone so smoothly. But that is going to, well, we'll see. Mr. Brad Chester, see if we can get Mr. Chester on here with us. Give me a moment. Hey, Brad, can I get you on camera? All right, we got Mr. Brad Chester coming over here for us. So we will chat with him for a minute. All right, you want joining me for a minute?
Yep, give me 2 seconds because I thought that my wife could make her feel like I'm thinking about her or she yells at me.
All right, I'm going to take the headset off. We'll hold it like this so everybody can hear us. All right, so here we have with us the man, the myth, the legend, as I have now dubbed you, the Frog Father, as the winner of the inaugural Showdown in Frogtown. So I expect to see that on a jersey at some point, the Frog Father.
I will get that.
All right.
Frog
So,
Father victory.
congratulations on another victory, sir.
It was very tough.
That last one looked insane. It came down to you holding him to a 5 one time.
One time.
Yeah. That was.
And that's when I saw, I literally, that was the big opportunity when he had just kind of nothing there.
Yeah.
And he didn't make it 2 because I was able to hold him. I actually rolled that 1 on the morale check, which means so he couldn't consolidate onto the objective. So I contested this, the middle one, and then I just took this one away. And I saw that, I was like, well, I can give him a 5. That's my.
That was the game deciding play.
Yeah.
Did you have an auto pass that you just didn't use there, or you just know you were going to roll a 1?
No. I was literally like, I needed to have 1 guy.
Right.
So the 1 was awesome.
So you're just taking like the 67% chance to have a guy left.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
His whole bag, his whole army came up missing, and we're like, holy shit. And then they thought I was the one that had it.
So, but yeah, the only thing I would have done different is I should have focused the sterilizers right away. Got a lot of damage from those.
Yeah.
Took the shenanigans. Obviously, AdMech is just insanity good. I mean, the 2 up saves are just like killing my soul.
And I do see some people asking in chat, if you have any questions for Brad, please put them in there. We'll get to them in a minute. We'll be glad to answer your questions. Something I was interested in, very different take on AdMech from your opponent with the 10 giant melee robots. Did that worry you at all going into this?
Yes, because Drukhari's weakness is high toughness Mech and things that ignore AP1, and he had a lot of ability to just shake that off.
Yeah.
I got super. Actually, I didn't get lucky. I got 1 more. I did 8 mortals twice with Precision Blows Girl.
Yeah.
14 attacks. You know what I mean?
That makes it a lot easier.
So I got decent with that. I underestimated the Dragoon damage because he popped 2 strats and put them in combat doctrine, and he got a lot more damage than I thought he was going to.
Yeah.
For the first attack on the Hellions, I was thinking I rolled like out of control, buck wild, to have those 2 guys left. He
Really?
killed 8 guys on his first, and that was with 2 guys.
We were questioning if that was just you knew that he could interrupt the Dragoons and you're just willing to take it, or you seemed to be that you were surprised by what they were capable of.
I was surprised at how much they could do. I didn't realize that they had the explosion strats.
Yeah.
So I knew it, but I was not thinking in my head when I'm trying to do my math on it. And I had already touched in the back with the succubus, and she was closer, so I knew he literally couldn't move at all.
Yeah.
So he could attack me with those 2 guys. And he just blew me
Yeah, we
up.
saw that. Not to rep other teams too much on our channel, but I saw it as something we teach in the war room that I hear Nick say. Tagging the back of a line, tagging the front of the line,
Yeah.
taking away the ability to consolidate into
Exactly.
combat.
So that's the whole reason she was back there. Basically grabbed that. He wasn't able, and I was like, only true dragoons are going to attack me. I should be not okay, but alive.
Yeah. So that succubus in the back literally won you the game almost then, because
'cause if you
if the
would've-
third one piles in,
I have
there's
0
no
people,
way.
And then
Yeah.
I don't get that 5 points.
Yeah. And then it's an actual tie game at the end of
I
the game,
should've-
or worse.
I should have actually pressured earlier with the incubi on the dragoons, because the dragoons, I would have been AP3, possibly AP4 with 6s, and they're 2 and 3 damage.
Yeah.
And then I've got the Archon there, giving reroll 1s, and I could have smashed into him because the turn before he comes his characters a little farther away, so I could have got in a little bit better on that. Those are all like 2020, you know what I mean? Those
Yeah.
are, like, I'm looking at the game. I did underestimate them a little bit. I think I probably, if I did the whole thing again, I would have just emptied a raider out and just moved locked out.
Yeah.
Because like I did with the bikes in the first turn, I would have just done that again, and that basically means I would have had another turn basically of taking the middle.
Yeah.
And he couldn't have gone. He's just too big. The robot thing, I always wanted him to come down there
Yeah.
because I knew he was just going to be getting no value out of shooting with the robots, and he finally came in and
Yeah.
I was able
They're
to
not near an objective down there. You have other things that are blocking line of sight to the things that can shoot. They're not that fast. So they're just kind of out of position down there.
So, and that's what the only thing I would change, because I was always trying to win small. It's happening. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, I was looking for ways to win small and not expose myself. The only thing that I should have 100% done, I forgot to bring the Hellions out on turn 2.
Oh, you wanted to on turn 2.
Well, I didn't want to bring them offensively. I was going to bring them behind that wall. No one can shoot me. I then have a threat range
Much bigger than if you just land on the third turn.
and then I have to, and I can only kill the Traxxas at that point in time. What I could have done is put those, move block, Raider gets destroyed, those guys jump over, I pop the 2 CP strap to reroll all wounds,
Yeah.
2 damage apiece, so I get more chances for the AP2s, and then I also bring the mortal wound girl in. Statistically, I either kill them or put them down to like 1.
You make them irrelevant at
Right,
least. Yeah.
exactly. And that would have made it so I just had the board, he shoots me away, but then I just win.
Yeah.
Small on points.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, and I know this was not a play you made, but I'm just curious what you thought of it at the beginning of the game. The solar flare in turn 1, we were trying to figure out what its goal was.
He wanted to get the points for the secondary, because he has to kill something.
Right. So he just wanted to kill the Mandrakes for the 3
He
points.
wanted to kill the Mandrakes,
Okay.
and I had witches over there too.
Okay.
DJ too?
Do what?
Go grab DJ.
Yeah, we can get DJ next. Absolutely.
And when the thing is also, it gets me out of my ride. I messed up on that because I thought that the go away with the infiltrators was unengaged.
Right.
And so that made a huge difference, because my whole
Because then the witches just melted.
Right.
Yeah.
My whole plan was I grab these guys, they don't go anywhere, I'm safe. He's like, deuces.
Yeah.
If I'd have done that, that was a big deal. And I think it was always good, though, because
So you have,
I know
you have David
this,
in here too. We'll get to the questions for him next. So let me
but
turn the camera.
when you did the solar flare, it effectively let him kill a unit for free.
Yeah.
So he got points for the secondary, and I don't have an option besides. Also, he knows that if I come into him, I have to burn 1,000,000 CP. I got to not Overwatch. I have to reroll wounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I might fight twice depending on what happens, kind of thing. So he just burnt so many of my CP, and then he gets a free witch.
Yeah. We didn't see that you're saying there was witches behind that ruin with the Mandrake. That are on that
There was
objective.
a 5-man witch.
Okay.
He killed 2 units that turn. It was
Okay.
worth it.
That was where we didn't see. We always thought it was just for a Mandrake. That's why we're
we
confused.
didn't roll the 1. I
Okay.
rolled for
You just picked
shits
them
and
up.
giggles on the mandrakes, and
Okay.
the DJs just went, no.
That makes more sense. Yeah, I was asking Brad what he thought about the solar flare at the beginning of the game, because me and Pete were trying to figure out. We didn't know there were witches there, so we thought you solar flared just to kill Mandrakes, and we thought that was aggressive.
So like with the knowing that later in the game,
We'll all snuggle.
oh, later in the game I could have lost the Mandrake, or could have lost my Dragoons and my robots, and that would have put me in a position where I couldn't have scored one of my secondaries.
Right.
So I needed to make sure the first turn I was going to score that secondary. So the best choice there was to hit them with something and say, this, like at one point, there was a lot of times during all weekend where I'd say, I'm going to spend 1 CP, okay? I'm shooting at them, okay? It's 60 shots, yup, pick up, walk away. And that's where it was, and it was just, at that point, point, okay, I'm deleting them, 3 points.
Right.
That's it. And then with the fact that I have 2 big vehicle units, I knew that first turn he's not wiping out 5 Castellan robots or 5 Dragoons on the first game turn when 2 of his raiders are in strategic reserve.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I had to put some stuff in reserve because that board was just a ghost land in the middle. Great terrain in back in the back, but I could not have gotten shot by all this stuff, because especially if I was on foot turn 1, it's just bad news bears for me.
Yeah.
So I knew I was going to bring him in on turn 2 anyways, but I just haven't. And he can put the robots. He was smart about it. He put the robots as the block, not the robots, but the Dragoons
Yeah.
as the block. That's the whole thing. I was waiting to see if there was ever going to be a mistake on that. But even with the charge moves and stuff, he made sure that he basically blocked out stuff.
Let me ask you about that, David. Is it David or DJ?
DJ. I go by DJ.
Okay, DJ. The wall of robots. As soon as you started deploying them, it looked like that was maybe something you've done before. Is that your
Dragoons?
Yeah. Well, just like you had the Dragoons, and then there was the Castellans down at the bottom of the Dragoons in your deployment. You made like a general wall around all of your stuff.
The Dragoons, a lot. Like, yes. The Dragoons I've done that for a while. Where a lot of times I'll start deploying stuff out there, and like, okay, they deploy, okay, get my opponent to put some models out there, try and draw a line, and then go, haha, here are these models that can soak up all your hits, or -1 to hit, and are just going to, if you run into them, they're just going to turn around and turn you into a blender. So I've done that a lot where I draw that line with them. The robots, I mean, it just came down to, like he had said, it's like, okay, here they are, they're a big threat, and if you want to go and rush at them, you want to throw your raiders at them, I mean, I have no problem with that whatsoever. You know, go ahead, just move your entire army to the middle, take out all the terrain, just sit in front of me, and I will gladly charge it.
And it exploded. It's not even that. It's just, even if I go crazy and I kill the robots in the middle on his side, I'm still standing in the open against 60 bodies.
Yeah, I mean, there are craters there, but that's not going to keep you from getting shot, obviously. Yeah.
I go from my 6-up save to a 5-up save.
Yeah.
And then I ignore cover on
And
everything.
I was saying, he ignores cover.
Omni specs across the board.
Yeah.
So T3, I'm just going to take 100 wounds.
Yeah. So how did you come to the conclusion you wanted to bring 10 melee robots? Because that was, or 8.5 melee robots, whatever.
Do you want the crazy competitive answer, or do you want the true answer?
Let's hear the true answer.
I like robots.
You like robots. All right, that's fine. I was questioning if it was some kind of like anti-Drukhari tech or something like that.
It is actually.
It is. At the end of it, it was kind of, it was a backwards thing.
Yeah.
It was, I like robots. Then I played against Drukhari back at home and went, oh hey, they really struggle against these things. So that was kind of where that came in. Two, yes, it's AdMech. I mean, all weekend long I was running. It's AdMech again, pre-FAQ AdMech. I'm not going to try to patronize and say, oh, you know what, AdMech, this is good, this is okay, it's fine. We know where the book stands. There's no one stupid. But
they're okay. They're doing all right.
They're okay. But I wanted to at least try to bring something that I could put a little bit of my heart into,
a little
bit
spice.
of heart, a little bit of spice, a little bit of skill to like make people feel a little bit better. Like if they got crushed or lost to it, it's like, well, at least I didn't lose to
the stock
120 guys and servers.
It's super boring though. I'm not gonna lie, the Dragoons were. I knew what they did, but I didn't at the same time. You know what I mean? Like but then all of a sudden you're like, you don't.
Sometimes you got to see it to really process
it's
it.
also like the strats, and you put them in combat doctrine, and all of a sudden you're like, the math should be this.
It's not.
That's what I said. The turn where I caught you and you couldn't consolidate in, I'm like, he doesn't even have that many guys to come at me, and you're like, take 77 saves. I'm like, I rolled hot fire and still lost 8 dudes.
Yeah. I love that. How many attacks do you have? 16. Okay, go to roll dice. So I take 52 saves. Why?
It's a lot of explosions. All right, let's see. We had a few questions, I think. Brad, are you and your last opponent? No. It was fine. There was no tension in the game that I saw. Right? Everyone's good. Yeah. There was. I think as is prone to happen with Brad, someone walked by and flipped you off on camera, and they were just wondering if everything was okay. But no, that's just Brad. That's what he surrounds himself with. 2-part question, Brad. Why do you suck? And screw you.
Genetics, and I'm sorry.
That's your friend Gia Monster. So, no, it doesn't look like we had any other tactical questions though from the chat. You guys answered most of the questions. Again, the solar flare play makes a lot more sense. I was just like in my head, I was like, why would you trade 20 guys for 5 mandrakes? It didn't make sense.
He killed 2 units and he forced. I have 1 to play against that.
Yeah.
So effectively, he takes 20 of. I kill 20 of his guys. He burns 5 to 7 of my CP.
Well, yeah, and
kills 10 witches.
And what I had thought was maybe it was also like, yeah. Well, killing the witches that were there makes sense. 'Cause I didn't know they were there. I thought it may have been like a thing to like get the stuff out of the raider. At that point, you get to go ahead and shoot it. Yeah. So you're trading it for the opportunity to kill what was protected.
That was the angle.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I knew they were dead.
Because he basically killed 15 witches, 5 mandrakes, and my succubus in that trade.
Yeah.
That's 100% worth
that was my thought. It was like if you really just want to kill the stuff that's inside the raider, it makes sense to trade a 20 man for that. That was kind of what I was wondering if you were going for. So that makes sense now. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions. So thank you. Congratulations, Brad. Congratulations on a strong finish, DJ. Excellent tournament from both you guys. Hope you had a great time. Again, all hail the Frog Father, champion of frogs. Excellent job, and hopefully we'll see you guys at our next event. All right. Thank you guys. All right, chat. Well, that is our wrap-up interview with DJ and Brad. Hope you guys had a great time with us this weekend. I think we have another event. If you're in the Metro Detroit area, we're going to be running a team tournament. I think it's on September 11th up near Bastion. And if you're in the Metro Detroit area, we are streaming and playing at Bastion Game Center over near Pontiac every Sunday. So we'd love to have you guys come out and hang with us if you're anywhere nearby. Thank you very much for joining us this weekend. Hope you had a great time, and we will see you next time.